Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to read the stories that you send us.
Indeed.
I got
Very,
really
very
excited.
excited. Usually you have your normal professional intro, but you did get really excited there. But the stories that you folks send us, we call homegrown horrors. Robin, what is a homegrown horror?
So, homegrown horrors are the stories of paranormal spiritual activities that have happened to you, your family, your friends, that you graciously share with us. And they can be scary, they can be heartfelt, they can be totally coincidental and hilarious, but it's just your experiences, and we get to share those experiences with the rest of our spooky friends, and it's absolutely awesome.
It's a really good
Are you
time.
looking at my hair? Is my hair messy or
No,
something?
no, I'm just looking at your hair.
Okay.
I'm just like watching where it parts because your bangs look really good tonight. They look good every night. Oh, shit. How do I get out of this? Tailspin. But seriously.
I love that show.
There you go. I figured it out. But I wanted to say that some folks also send us messages about like brushes with true crime. And those are fascinating and equally terrifying. So,
Yes.
you can send us those too. And basically anything that's scary or scary-ish, like we're willing to take. And honestly, the funny shit too, send it all. You can email storytime@scarish.com. Go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Or message us on any of our social medias. Twitter is @scarishpod. Instagram is @scarishpodcast. And Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can reach out to us in a multitude of ways. And if you want your story read, let us know. And you might just have it read on the show. And you might have it read. I mean, we record all of these live every 6:30. No, not every 6:30. Every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 8:30 Central, 9:30 on the East Coast. And you can come watch us at twitch.tv/scarishpodcast or youtube.com/scarish. It is 100% free. YouTube, you don't have to sign up for an account. Twitch, you have to sign up for an account, but that is free to make. It's super quick. I think all they need is an email address. And like Robin always says, if you have Amazon Prime, which a lot of us do, you can basically link that to a Twitch account, and Amazon gives you something called Twitch Prime, which means you're a super Twitcher. And you can give 5 of Amazon's dollars per month to any channel that you watch that's an affiliate. We are an affiliate, so you can give us 5 of Jeff Bezos' dollars every month, like folks that did this while we were off the air, named Fly with Mario, who subscribed, and Random401, who also subscribed. And I don't even think they used their Twitch Prime. They just gave us 5 of their own dollary dues.
Thank you so much.
So shout out to them. We really appreciate you. Also, Class Beetle 88 and Miranda, who also followed us in our downtime. We appreciate you. This thing is supposed to tell me all the folks who decide to follow us while we're not on the air. And it doesn't, but it's been updated recently, and I think it's actually working.
Oh, that's
What's
cool.
interesting about our streaming software is it's not even at version 1.0 yet. It's version 0.15.1. So we're like in early beta stages with this thing, but it's been pretty good to us. So thank you to everyone who's watching us live tonight, and also thank you to everyone who has decided to listen to us in the normal podcast version. So we haven't really discussed who would go first on this, but I think I'm going to be the one who winds up taking the first story.
Okay. I mean, if you want to.
Sure.
You go for it.
My first one, and I know there's some short ones this episode. There's also some long ones. So
Thank you so much to the Gray Coast for subscribing.
yeah, 5 months now. Thank you so
you.
much. And it was with Twitch Prime, which means thank you, Jeff Bezos, for them dollar bills, y'all. All right, the subject of this first one is Creep, Stalker, Ghost, and Slenderman. And it starts out like this. Howdy, Robin and Adam.
Howdy.
Howdy. And then in parentheses it says,
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Adam's British, hello. My name is Christian, and I'm 18 years old from Dallas,
That's
Texas.
your British hello?
Hello.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Oi! No, I don't know what my British hello is.
Oh my gosh.
All right, they're from Dallas, Texas. In parentheses, in a rich place. Also, ladies, I'm single. LOL. Okay, that got weird really quick. I'm about to graduate, and when I started listening to your podcast, I started passing my classes, so I shout out you for my graduation. That's
Give me
pretty
some
nice.
of that energy. I need that energy.
Right? I think we all need that energy, so I don't know how we gave it to you, but I'm very happy that you got it from somewhere.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, anyways, to the story, and I think they paused there because they knew that we were going to have some bullshit tangent, which we didn't get too far down the rabbit hole on, so I'm pretty proud of us. I'm a YouTuber, gamer, and I have a camera that I'm going to use when I get 100 subs, but I used it for one night because I thought someone broke into my room, so I had night vision on it, and when I woke up that morning, it says the night morning, which is like
that
two things.
Night or morning. Maybe it was like super late at night, super
Maybe
early
this
morning.
is choose your own adventure.
Ooh.
When I woke up the night morning, I saw movement outside my window, and then Slender Man was looking into my window at me. And probably about 10 minutes later, he left. So I guess Slender Man just popped by, and I'm
For
still
10 minutes, though.
for 10 minutes, only 10 minutes during the night morning. He left. Then a ghost was at the end of my bed. So yeah, fuck this shit. I'm out. So I'm not sure where you're gonna go, but yeah, I think we'd all be out on that. It sounds like a really bad dream.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wish I still had the video, but when I tried to post it, my old computer burst into flames. So all of those other videos of Slender Man are fake. So yeah, that does sound unfortunate when you try and post stuff that's paranormal and something burst into flames. Hope you guys are well, and hopefully this gets into a video or podcast. Oh, before I forget, shout out to Spotify, which I have listened to your podcast, your whole podcast, in a week. That's a lot of binging.
Yeah.
Sincerely, your neighbors from Texas. P.S. If you come to Dallas, I will be willing to go to Denton with you to the Goatman Bridge. We've had a lot of folks volunteer to go to the Goatman Bridge with us.
I don't want to go, so it's probably not going to happen.
If you have Slender Man greeting you for 10 minutes at a time and your computer's bursting into flames, we'll Skype you in, dog. Like, I don't think that's the energy that we really want around us if we're going to go investigate a haunted place.
Anytime I hear something set on fire, I just think of IT Crowd and how Moss is like, I'll just place this with the rest of the fire.
I absolutely love that show. Yeah, but that's a solid email. Thank you for sending that in. And you know what's fun about the live episodes is what we're about to do, which always gets edited out, is we turn to the stream chat because we have YouTube and Twitch watching us live. And we ask folks, hey, what did you think of that story? Which we're about to do and speculate a little bit, which is just sort of like, I guess we would call it like inside baseball, which is a term that I don't pretty much ever use. But
inside baseball.
It just means it's something for the folks who are here right now. So we're going to go ahead and turn and do that. But I'm going to edit this to make a really nice transition while Robin moves on into the second email. So take it away, Robin.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was joking because we're going to turn to the stream chat.
Oh, I see.
I was like saying like I'm going to edit that part to this whole thing will be not in the podcast, but this is just us turning to stream chat now because Robin didn't like catch on to what I was trying to do there. All right, let's look over into stream chat, see what you folks had to say about that first story. Seems a little far-fetched to me. Slenderman, ghost, video uploading.
It sounds like either a really bad trip.
Yeah.
Or just a nightmare, night terror type thing.
I want to go with the benefit of the doubt, so I'm going to say it was a nightmare from like the whole recording, the uploading, the fire. That all sounds very speculative. So I don't want to say that I think anyone is lying, but I do want to say it's very far-fetched. And if that is true, that's some crazy shit. But I want to hear what you folks have to say. So I'm going to scroll to the top of the YouTube stuff, and we'll see. And Robin has the Twitch stuff.
I have a lot of hellos. Hello, everyone in Twitch. We don't have a lot of people in Twitch today. But thank you for joining us. And yeah.
Akbar was the first in. Akbar said hi. Karen followed with a hello. Sakura with a woo.
You gotta say it like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello. That's the best I got. Akbar with, I know, assalamu alaikum. And then the rest I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try it and mess it up. Akbar says, peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you, spooky friends, which is very nice. It's very sweet of you to say. Sakura says, I missed you guys. Been busy past couple of weeks. Sakura, you be busy. You do you. I know you got that baby coming too, so you just take care of yourself.
Thank you so much to Akasuna no Kairi, who has resubbed for 9 months. That's awesome.
A lot of months. Speaking of 9 months, thank you for joining us, Sakura. I just remember that Sakura was the first person that reached out to us. Was like, hey, can you do a pregnancy announcement for me? On the show, yeah.
Oh, cute.
So that's what every time I see the name pop up, that's what I'm thinking about.
Wait, so does that mean later down the line during our podcast life, we're going to have babies born?
Spooky babies?
Spooky babies, what?
Yeah, it's super cute.
It's cute.
You got to get a onesie. We should just send her a onesie.
We don't even have a onesie.
We're going to have to find some money so we can get one of these onesies off of our store and send you a onesie. Karen says, no, you're not doing it right. And then the very long woo with interlocked... interspersed, interlocked,
capital,
whatever.
Lowercase O's.
Welcome, Esmeralda. Thank you for joining us. Then I said something in the chat, welcoming everyone in the YouTube. Shout out to Ed, who has joined us for their first live stream ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Karen says, I got a haircut and cut off a bunch of my hair, but I'd be looking fresh. There's also a fly in my room, and it's pushing me over the edge of sanity. I had a fly when I was setting up the office where it was just like buzzing the tower over and over. And I grabbed one of the manga off the shelf, and I was just like waiting, like, you're going to fucking die.
You did that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It was right here. I didn't get it. Like, he got my drift, and he fucked off. But I was, like, ready to murder.
Okay, so when it comes to my manga, I'm one of those people that don't crack the spine, okay? I'm very, very meticulous with my manga. I barely open it. I open it enough to read it, so it closes nice and flat. And maybe that makes me weird, but
You take very good care of your stuff. I didn't kill it. It doesn't have fly guts on it.
It's like you're abusing my children.
I can't wait to abuse your children. We had a discussion earlier today about it, in fact. Akbar says, I missed the last 2 live streams. Not today, though. And also gave a welcome to Ed for joining us. Soccer says, my hubby found a big centipede in the basement of our new house. Sorry, Robin.
Yeah.
Those are like my 2 least favorite things right there.
That's
my
why
least
basements
favorite thing
are evil.
Her least favorite thing.
Centipedes, demons, and ghosts.
God. Karen says, welcome, good sirs and or madams and everyone in between or other.
Nice.
Luna says, in parentheses, switched accounts. So nice to have you folks all here. Got some woos. Mario be like, come fly with me. Fly. Let's fly away. Luna says, I'm watching on my TV and using my phone for the chat, but my phone is like 2 seconds ahead. That's hilarious. It's weird how between devices you don't know which one's going to be like caught up or not. You don't have any other Twitch stuff over there?
No.
Cool. I guess I'll just keep going. This fly, I swear to God, someone's about to die. She's still being tortured. Etzley has joined us. Thank you so much. Taylor Dominguez has also joined us. I'm glad to see you folks trickling in. Akbar says, Adam, are you wearing pants? I am wearing basketball shorts.
I'm wearing pants. I always wear pants, though.
She
Well,
does
unless
always
I'm
wear
wearing
pants.
a skirt. But, I mean, I always wear bottoms.
She is always dignified when she stands up. That's because if something happens during the show, she actually usually stands up, and I'm not the one that stands up. So if I were to, I don't know, I'm pretty sure we get kicked off of Twitch. But not today, though. Major Wolf says, I just heard my story finally. I'm guessing finally. Taylor Dominguez says, definitely sounds like a nightmare. Luna says, or like a hella realistic nightmare. I think we're all on the nightmare train. Major says, I promise you guys it's true. So it was Major Wolf's story. Right on. And then Karen says, question of the week. What is the funniest thing I have experienced today? Oh, I don't know. It's not a lot of humor in my life today.
Funny things. Okay.
Apparently that was funny. She thought of
not
something
a lot
good.
of funny things happen to me at work. Work is very mellow and boring. We have a whole bunch of new interns at work, and we're packing up our cubicles because we're getting new carpet in, so we have to pack up all our stuff. But I was asking my neighbor, like, hey, can you toss me the tape? And one of the new interns for the summer, she's just like, okay, this will be interesting how this is going to go. And so he just chucks the roll of tape over, and I catch it like a ninja. And she's just like, wow, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to go.
Were you like, fuck you for your judgmental attitude?
And I told her, I was like, I mean, I'm really good at playing catch. I don't know. Like,
I mean, if they're new, they have no right to judge you based off of like the fact that you have broken hands.
Well, I'm clumsy most of the time, but
it's pretty good. Very proud of you.
I did it twice. Caught the tape twice.
I think the funniest thing that happened to me today was Rob and I were discussing like what would happen if we were raising children, and we were discussing like the ways in which we would monitor our children's activities.
Yes, level the type of behavior.
Yes. And it related to a story that someone was telling at work, because there's like some moms there that are very like sensitive, and they try and be like time out and all this other stuff. I was raised with the belt. You know, it's just very much in my head. It's like, you screw up, you're going to get hit. And so she was telling this story and I call them crunchy moms, but she was telling the story to crunchy moms, and she's Filipino, and she's from the Philippines. She's been in America for about 10 years. And she was saying that her daughter was mouthing off to her like really nasty and saying like swear words. And they're like, what did you do? Like, how did you deal with it? Like, what did you say to her? She's like, oh, I brought my hand up to around my face, and then I spun around and backhanded her across her face. And she had the imprint of the back of my hand on her face for 24 hours. She'll never do that again. And just like this look of horror on these crunchy mom's face. I was just like, I get that it sounds rough, but that's the shit I grew up with. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, not always.
It's a different generation.
I won't call out Spooky Mom. She wasn't abusive or anything like that. But that's the funniest thing that's happened to me today.
I think it's a different generation. People want to try and fix things without violence, and it's hard.
Shout out to Mike Meadows, who
anyway.
resubscribed for the 9th time using his Amazon Prime. We love you. Thank you so much. Sakura says 25 weeks now. Etzley says, I love the beard hair combo, Adam, and your hair is amazing, Robin.
Thank you. It's messy today because all I did was tie it up in a ponytail, and my bangs are not cooperating, but whatever.
Thank you. I almost shaved before the show, so I appreciate that.
The Great Coast says, I watch I can't talk today. I watch / listen to all your podcast / streams in the basement with all the lights on. As long as the lights are on, I suppose you're safe. Except The Haunting in Connecticut, when the lights were on and the guy still had bad things happen.
It's a lot of creepy movies where stuff happens during the day. Natalia says, hello, first time watching live on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, Natalia. We appreciate you.
Harley,
go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, you. I've done a bunch
Harley
of it.
688 says, I used to sleep in my basement. That's terrifying. I couldn't do it.
I like how cool and damp basements are. It's like my ideal sleeping situation.
Would you call it moist?
Yeah, a little bit moist, but it's surrounded by spiders, and I hate that. Luna says, I used to abuse my books and crack the spines, but once I got to college, I realized how expensive books are. I will crack the spine of a paper book that's like an adventure book that's like $10, but I will not crack the spine on something I paid too much money for.
My copy of the first, is it the first or the second? A Game of Thrones book.
Second.
It's the second one. My copy of the Game of Thrones, the second book in the series is just torn. Yeah, like the whole back side is gone.
It's a disgrace.
It's just destroyed.
And she will not finish it. It's so annoying.
Paperbacks don't last very long with me, but
they don't.
But hardcovers and manga is just I take care of those.
I take care of hardcovers, and I wasn't trying to like destroy your manga. I was trying to destroy a fly, which Karen totally understands. Taylor says to Karen, I work at a zoo, and today there was this kid who was calling the Tego, which is a 15-pound lizard, ugly, but he respected it. It made me laugh so hard because kids have no filter, and I love it somehow. Some of the shit kids say, man, is just unbelievable. Akbar says, I read manga on an app. Technically illegal, but still manga.
The Grey Coast says, it's so nice and cool in the basement, maybe because of the AC ghosts. That is a perk. AC ghosts makes it all nice and chilly.
Etzley just pointed out, shout out because I got the job. I'm raising Rebel on Discord and Twitch. Way to fucking go. Congratulations. That is amazing. Good work. We got a lot more stuff over here in YouTube chat. We don't want to get too sidetracked before we get to the next story. So we're going to go ahead and move to the next one. And I'll just remember that the shout out to Raisin Rebel for going ahead and getting that job like a boss is where we will pick it up after the next story. So Robin, I will let you take it away with an amazing transition.
All right. So this next email is pretty short. It's from Rob, and it goes, hi, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. So I was sitting up playing games because I'm a total slob. All of a sudden, I see a flash and woke up on the ground like I passed out, or so it felt like. So I got up and was all of a sudden running from this ghostly owl, and then it got me, and I woke up in a cave, and then my bed. Thus began a weird stream of dreams. That sounds like a very strange stream of dreams.
I was going to say, this sounds like a nightmare. So I'm glad that they went with the whole, this is a strange, weird stream of dreams.
Have you ever had occurrences like that where your dreams are just one thing to another, to another, to another, and then it's just random? I've never had that.
I've had that, I wouldn't say frequently, but I've had it often enough where, like, I'll know when I'm, like, trapped in, like, the whole, like, fake waking up thing, or, like, where you're teleporting to a new scenario and you just can't get out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had it happen to me multiple times. It's just, it's a nightmare, literally.
Okay. So one of these dreams was sleep paralysis, and I thought of what Adam said, just fuck off, demon, and it went away. Then I high-fived Adam, and then we both said fuck off, demon, and I woke up. That's kind of awesome.
I don't think I was there, but it's cool that I was in your dream high-fiving you. Real life high five.
That was the best one. P.S. I love your pod and love to listen while I game. And Robin, keep being a goofy goober. Spooky boy out. Keep on creeping on. Thank you. I am a goofy goober. My coworker today was like, all right, chunky monkey. I was like, I will
Which coworker was this?
This Cody.
Wow.
I was just like, don't make me stab you. Like, what the fuck?
Me and Cody are going to have some words. No one calls you a chunky monkey. I will stab someone.
Anyway, yes. Thank you so much, Rob, for your email.
Yeah, we appreciate it. The first two have gone pretty quick. So let's move over into stream chat and see what you folks had to say. And this is kind of perfect because we had like a lot of extra YouTube chat over there.
Oh, cool. Albrain says, been a minute since the live stream. Miss the folks and marbles. And welcome back. Thank you for coming back.
Who was that?
Albrain?
Oh, shit, Albrain. Welcome back. Yeah, a lot of people congratulating Raisin Rebel / Etzley for getting that job. He says, I'm still buzzing over it. LMAO. That's awesome. Major Wolf says, shout out, or just shout. I think it's shout out. Shout out Jason Momoa and Zach Baggins. Jason Momoa, yes. Zachary Bagels, not so much. Luna says, I recognize some Discord peeps. It's kind of funny because everyone has different names wherever they go.
So somebody posted on Twitter that there's like an article going around that Jason Momoa, there's a picture of him, and he's
the
not
body shaming.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah.
feel so bad because he works so hard and he's in his off season where he's not doing anything and people are treating him like crap. Like, dude, it's hard.
He's not. That's the thing too. It's not like he's getting fat. He's just not working out because
He
he's going
just
to be on
doesn't
camera.
have like ridiculous amount of pecs.
He's
like
working.
taking a break.
He's working out like probably normal to like maintain strength, but not
Yes.
build mass and bulk. But like they did that to fucking Chris Hemsworth. Like I think the first Avengers movie, they had like his arms weren't nearly as big as they were in the first Thor movie, and people gave him so much shit for losing weight. But like Chris Hemsworth is the type of actor where he goes from like bulk to skinny. Like he was in the Racer movie. I forget what it's called. But he's like an F1 racer, and he's super skinny in that movie. Like, he's still in really good shape. But people are literally body shaming him because he lost his mass. It's like, dude, unless you're going to post a picture of, like, you being more ripped than Thor or more ripped than Aquaman, like, shut the hell up. You know what I mean?
It's not the Le Mans one, right?
I think it is, though. It's a true story, too. It's about two racers that, like, push themselves, and they kind of hated each other. But they're also really good rivals. His rival is the dude who was the German sniper in Inglourious Bastards. The guy that played Baron von Zemo in Avengers 2, ironically. So they're in that together. But yeah, that body shaming shit is nonsense, dude. Like, I rock the dad bod, and I rock it hard. Like, the only time people can body shame me is if I, like, get super ripped, and they're like, where'd the dad bod go? Which, I'm going to be honest, probably not going to happen. So, I'll lose weight. I'll get healthy. But super ripped, maybe not. I'm kind of pissed someone called you Chunky Monkey. That actually makes me mad. It's crossing a line.
Laura Ann also says not cool to that comment too. But it's fine. I literally see this person almost every single day because we have to go to school together and stuff. So it's fine. Whatever. He's also a Chunky Monkey. He's fine. Anyway.
It's nice that you guys have terms of endearment for each other.
Glitch Grim says, "Oh, I know that movie. It's a documentary of Ricky Bobby." I love that movie. Talladega Nights.
If you
so
ain't first,
good.
you're last.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
that like every day when I'm driving to work and someone passes me.
I'm just always like, I want to go fast.
Luna says, I started typing my second story time yesterday, but then got lazy and took a nap. Shit happens. Akbar says, woo, Philippines. Shout out.
Eric, W1 says, hey guys, could you feel that earthquake that Callie got earlier this week out there in Vegas?
Yeah, we could.
Definitely did.
First one of my life that I felt.
Yeah. I think first one.
For me.
Yeah. We were sitting upstairs in our loft, and I totally thought that Adam was just ripping one on the couch because that's a normal occurrence. But then it didn't stop.
I looked at her and I was like, do you feel that? And she like looked at me. She's like, yeah. And like as soon as we acknowledged that we could feel like not just the couch shaking, but my feet were on the floor, and the loft is on the second floor, obviously. And like I could feel the floor moving, and then it like increased in intensity, and I could hear like shifting going on like for the structure. And my thought in my head was like, some stuff is going to tip over. And I was like looking at the TVs. I was like, one of those is mounted. One of those is not. And I was just thinking like, if this gets any worse, like we're probably going to have damage here. And then it like subsided. But it was like 45 seconds.
We could see like the shutters. They were like moving back and forth. And
the pools in Vegas were like rocking and rolling. They looked like wave pools.
It was very crazy.
Luna says, I'm aggressively pushing this live stream to my horror fan friends. Please let them know that it's Ghost Stories hosted by two silly people.
Also, it is explicit, and it's not like
I think most people that watch horror movies expect some swearing.
Let's see.
Karen, I love how obsessed Karen is about this. I would kill the fly, but its guts always squish all over my hands and it's disgusting. And I have respect for all living organisms except for fucking mosquitoes. It's fair enough.
No, mosquitoes are immediately like slap dead.
Slap dead? Because
those can carry disease. I mean, most things can, but I just can't stand mosquitoes. And they're tiny, and they breed like crazy, and it's just...
Yeah.
Ugh.
Luna says, if like 5 weird goths show up in a bit, that's my fault.
Aw.
I don't think it's fault. I think it's credit.
I think it's funny because I'm wearing the pinkest shirt. I'm wearing my Mabel cosplay sweater because I did not know what to wear when this started. I was looking in my closet. I was like, okay, well, do I wear a Colts jersey? Because I have a whole bunch of those. I was wearing like my Overwatch polo to work, but I was like, I don't want to be on stream. There's like a big grease stain on the front of it that I didn't realize I had until halfway through the day, maybe more than halfway through the day. And my coworker had pointed something out to me earlier, but I didn't think that there was actually something. I thought it was a joke. But so now I'm wearing the sweater, and
this has been the story of Robin's wardrobe.
Yes, this is my wardrobe.
Notice the angle at which she is leaning towards her mic, and maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Mabel lean.
Oh,
that's how you pun.
No, that was a
That's
bad
how
one.
you pun.
Uh,
Major says, guys, I got a job at Jimmy John's. If you come to Dallas, I can hook you up. I fucking love me some Jimmy John's. Not a big fan of the owner, though. Etsy says, trying not to fall asleep with headphones. I always ruin them. That's funny. Karen says, since none of y'all like my question, I'm going to give you another second question of the week. What is one bad habit that you are trying to quit? That's a really good one. Also, I want to say that Akbar said, would you call your basement dank? That's pretty funny. But it is pretty accurate, too. What's a bad habit you're trying to quit, Robin?
Eating junk food.
That's a good one.
I just had a whole bowl of freaking ice cream before I came up here. So it's a hard thing to break.
For me, I don't know. Like actively trying to break. Like I have bad eating habits.
Yes.
Thank you, asshole.
Maybe stop going to fast food.
Yeah, fast food for lunch I think is one that I really need to break.
La, la.
Luna says, my habit would be smoking weed, not cigarettes. It's legal here. Definitely need to cut back. Shout out to Miss Deezy who just subscribed.
Thank you so much.
Saying, what up, fam? We miss you, Miss Deezy. We gotta get together and hang out. All right. What else do we got over here?
The Great Coast says, my old physics teacher used to call us chonky buzzards, and I loved it.
Chonky buzzards?
Glitch says, Jimmy John's in Dallas. Where? Because Glitch is from Texas, too. So.
Oh, shit. Glitch needs to hook up. Karen says, aw, Adam being all protective of his girl. That's just rude. Like, you don't call someone chunky monkey. Like, either you're being insulting or, like, you're being too familiar. That's all I'm saying. Jackie Chan says, hey, I'm here. Hope it's not too late. No, we're only 2 stories in. Welcome, Jackie. Thank you for joining us. Shout out to Captain Fake Guy who just subscribed for 2 months in a row with Amazon Prime / Twitch Prime.
That just reminded me that I really want to thank all of our new patrons that we've picked up this past, I don't know, few weeks, months, because Captain Fake Guy is one of them. And we've picked up a couple new ones that I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome and so nice. And I've tried to post things periodically, and I know they're not like super crazy, fancy, extra content type stuff, but I really appreciate it because most of the Patreon stuff is me trying really hard to put stuff out there.
Right. I was talking with Robin. I think I'm going to try and write, and I haven't written creatively in a while. I've written technically for a long time. Like some flash fiction, some really short, just shitty horror things, and toss them out there for you guys to all make fun of, and then probably cry in my room forever after that. But I've had the urge to write again, and I haven't had the urge to creatively write in a while. So I'm like, maybe I'll just do something short, like a quick snippet, and see if I can make it kind of scary, and then post it for the Patreon or for the patrons to see first, and then maybe release it a little bit later if it gets a good reception.
Laura Ann says, I ate an entire Halo top before the podcast. Healthy-ish. My friend even who didn't eat Halo top before posted a picture on his Instagram and was like, maybe I'm a convert now because he enjoyed Halo top so much, and I kind of want to try it, but I'm scared.
What is Halo top?
It's like healthier ice cream.
Oh, okay. I am not a fan of ice cream, which helps me in not being morbidly obese, just severely obese.
I love ice cream so
it really does.
Much. Miss Deezy says, just got back from watching Midsummer. Is it good?
Because I hear both. Yeah. The extremes. Loved it. Best movie ever. Hated it.
I'm too
it was
afraid
terrible.
to watch it because I don't want to cry.
Right.
I am too scared to cry.
Let us know how it is. And after this next email we're about to read, we're going to have a Stranger Things season 3 break because we need to talk about some shit. And we'll do it spoiler free for those of you who haven't watched it yet.
How are you going to do it spoiler free?
Because I'm good. That's how. Luna says, here's my question. What's everyone's favorite horror movie? Event Horizon. Perfect mixture of science fiction and horror. I think they blend well, great as a genre. Because like science fiction has this inherent ability to isolate you, and also gives the ability, like I always read science fiction from a perspective of like it gives sentience to something that normally doesn't have sentience, or it plays on this idea of like an object that you can look at could have the ability to look back at you. Like those are sort of the themes that I studied in college when it came to sci-fi, and I realized that those things merge so well with horror. You know what I mean? So yeah. Event Horizon is my favorite horror movie. Robin, what's your favorite horror movie?
I feel like I don't have a favorite. I like The Conjuring because I've watched that multiple times. I love Constantine. That's my favorite, but I know it's not horror.
I was gonna say it's an action.
It's
horror.
like action. There's like demons and stuff.
It's a Keanu Reeves movie.
It's a Keanu Reeves movie.
And he's
I love
he's
it.
the best.
He's breathtaking. Anyway,
He is breathtaking.
yeah, I like the Conjuring movies. Probably, maybe those are my favorite. I just watch too many of them to have a favorite because I will watch
She watches so much
I
garbage.
watch a lot of horror
She'll
movies.
watch like those Amazon, like when you go into Amazon Prime Video or whatever, and you're like, you see the normal movies, and you can keep like selecting next movies. She'll go to like 200 movies deep and be like, "Oh, I'll watch this like found footage film shot with a cell phone by a high schooler."
I will not do found footage. It makes me nauseous.
It's the one genre, and I just picked it.
Yeah,
Karen says, "Who's body shaming? Give me their full name and address so we can have a chat." Picks up hatchet. Shout out Sharon, or not Sharon, Karen. My bad. Kat says, "I nervous laughed at my desk as my desk chair started rolling away from the desk with me on it. That's terrifying. That's not right." Esley says, "I felt my heart drop through my goddamn knees." Lots of people saying they also want to go find the body shamers and murder them. And Major Wolf has given his location. I'm not going to read it out loud, but he was comfortable enough to share it with chat, so I'll let chat see it over there on YouTube. Aquar says, "Chunky Monkey is much better than what I call my nieces and nephews." I call them little shits, by the way. That's pretty funny. Halo Top is so good. Some flavors have a gritty texture, but man, so good.
You should let us know which flavors don't have a gritty texture so we can avoid them.
Good call. Aquar says, "Adam, I don't mind you spoiling Stranger Things. I am almost at the bottom. Writer's Guild. Hey, I think I'll start a story. Old, unfinished story. What about me? Are you guys going to finish me?" Other unfinished. And me from a year ago? Another project I've been waiting for years. That is 100% how it works. I read this interview with Stephen King where he said that you have to take projects and lock them in drawers and lose the key deliberately so you don't have to feel the guilt of not going back to it until you're so ready to get back to it that you'll crack open that drawer. And after that, I was like, that's smart. That's a smart man right there. On is here. He says, "Hey, chat, and Adam, and Robin." Hey, On.
Hey,
Thank you
On.
for joining us.
What's up, Mon?
Oh, Kat says, "Oh, sorry, my chair rolled during the quake." Okay, I thought it was like there's a ghost pulling your chair right now. That's some scary shit.
Let's see. This great ghost says you should totally send all your writing, like post them.
I have a couple things from college that I'm still pretty proud of. Robin hates them, but I'll try and write something. So
Captain Fake Eye says it doesn't taste like real ice cream. It's not creamy like ice cream.
Right on. I don't like ice cream, so
I love ice cream and I love milk. Adam hates milk. He likes only skim milk that tastes like freaking water and it's gross.
Human beings are not meant to drink cow's milk. Like there's a whole spiel about it in the movie Snatch, and I live by that. Also, I just don't like the taste of milk. So yes, skim milk for me.
All right. Glitch Grim says yes, ahoy, about the Stranger Things break that we're gonna have. It's Miss Deezy says it's a good movie. A Miss Deezy thumbs up.
Right on.
Laura Ann says Black Cherry for Halo Top, so maybe we'll try that.
I hate black cherry.
I love black cherry.
I hate most cherry flavorings.
So sometimes on every other Friday, periodically we'll have ice cream day where we make ice cream in office. And
rough job she has.
We're all engineers, okay? But we'll make ice cream in office, and one of the flavors that the person who usually makes ice cream made was black cherry, and it was probably the best ice cream I've ever had.
Wow, that's high praise.
It was really, really good. It had fresh cherries in it. It was so stinking good. The last time that we made ice cream, we made Rocky Road.
She loves Rocky Road.
I love Rocky Road, and I brought in all the supplies, and it was great. It was fun.
I would like to say something. So sometimes when people state their opinion, someone else states their opinion and it's counter to it. And I never want anyone to think that when I say I don't like what you like, that I'm being rude. And I know I said I hate black cherry, and I'm not meaning that to be shitty. But I think it's awesome that anytime anyone that's in our listener base or our viewership says something that I don't agree with, and I say, I don't agree with that, even if I'm not trying to be rude, there's a proxy here who will disagree with me, who will basically tell me, like, I love it, you suck. So it's nice that you guys have that voice to sit in this chair.
Miss Deezy agrees with you about milk.
Shout out. God.
Well, Miss Deezy, you know me, and I love dessert, and I had to go get dessert when we went out to eat. Like, I freaking love dessert.
I just want to say a really quick thing about Stephen King, because I just in my brain I know it's going to leave. So I heard the story when I was younger, when I realized I wanted to be a writer, and then I grew up and failed or whatever. But Stephen King was living in like a trailer, and he was writing a manuscript, and he got so upset that he would never make it. Like it just wasn't going to work out, that he took his manuscript and he threw it in the garbage and he left because he was so upset. And his wife was living in the trailer with him. And when he came back, he sat back down at his desk like, do I start something new? Like, what do I do? Do I go get a job? And his wife took it out of the trash and put it in front of him and said, just finish it. That was
The Shining?
was Carrie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Carrie.
Like that's I did the same thing with the last episode that just came out, man. It's like night is darkest just before the dawn. That type of shit really inspires me, because like when you hear stories like that and you realize like, damn, things are rough right now, it's like it's because you're like you're right about there. So it's just, I don't know, I like sharing those stories. So
cool. Captain Fake Eye says, Adam, yes, I'm lactose intolerant, so many humans weren't supposed to drink milk, but everything else lactose is so good.
I love cheese, so cheese is where I get my lactose from. I also love gold.
She says, like cheese and butter. Harley also says that they're with you on the milk thing and glitch. Okay, everyone. I get it. Milk sucks. Miss Deezy says she drinks almond milk. We have almond milk at the house too. I've drank cups of almond milk before, but I won't eat it with cereal. I don't know why.
I just looked over and I saw Akbar said almond milk army. That's funny. I was caught up on the YouTube chat, and now I'm like not caught up at all. So let me know when you're caught up ish, and then I'll move on to my next one.
Miss Deezy says, I can confirm that you enjoyed that gold lace drink you got. That matcha place we went to.
She got matcha ice cream with like gold flakes on top.
Yeah, it was great.
Britt Newt says, oh no, super late, too many emergencies at work. Womp womp. We've only gone through 2 stories. No big deal. Thank you for joining us, Britt Newt.
This Greyco says, did you read King's thoughts on writing? You should maybe, I don't know, email us or message us or something like that.
I read a lot of stuff. He has a lot of forewords that are very long when they re-release his books on like his writing process, and I know a lot of his thoughts on creative writing and like how they teach it. And how it's kind of a travesty. So there's a lot of stuff that we can get into when it comes to Stephen King. I really like brilliant minds giving their take on like the struggles they went through, because I think it's very important to know that. Anna says, sorry I'm late. Hi, y'all. No worries. All right.
Laura Ann says, Robin, I love milk and ice cream.
Of course
so
you do.
I have someone on my side.
There's a lot of people that are on your side, I think.
All right. Yeah, so let's get into the next story. You're reading, right?
Yep. All right, so I'm going to move on to the second one for me, 3rd overall, and the subject is a story. So pretty solid subject, I'd say. And it starts
like
out.
A story.
It does. It starts out like this. Hi, Robin and Adam.
Hi.
Hello. My name is Lily, and the story you're about to read isn't actually mine. Feel free to read on the podcast. We'd be super honored if you did. Supernatural, paranormal things don't generally happen to me, or when they do, I guess I don't really notice. Side note, I always think there's people out there where shit happens to them and they're like, I swear, like, it just doesn't happen to me. It's like, and there's a ghost next to them just flipping you off. Like, I've tried to scare you so much, but you don't pay attention. So it's nice to know that there's people out there that are like that. Getting back into it. My best friend, Tasha, told me this story, and when she did, I immediately asked her if she could write it down so we could send it in to you, me being a fan. Here's her story. Shout out to Tasha for giving her story to be sent in. We appreciate that. And it's in quotes, so this should have come from Tasha. It says, I don't usually watch scary movies or TV shows because I've never really wanted to, and I've never really been allowed to. My family believes that watching or listening to scary or satanic things will allow spirits into the house.
My mom's the same way. I get you.
What was the rule that you guys had about open windows or yelling at night?
You can't yell at night. You can't whistle at night because it asks the spirits in.
It invites or beckons them or whatever.
Yeah. And she just freaked me out a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Or like when you're walking at night, you have to hold your hands like this, like keep your thumbs in.
So you're like, you ball up a fist, but with your thumb on the inside?
Yes.
It's like how you're not supposed to throw a punch.
Pretty much, I guess. But it's so that the spirits can't enter you. I don't know. My mom freaked me out a lot. Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah. So lots of strange, what are those called? When it's superstitions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just for all our listeners, that if you want to keep a person from not entering you, you want the thumb on the outside so you don't break it when you punch them in the face if they attempt to. All right.
That's a good one.
Getting back to it. One night, however, after watching American Horror Story with a friend, I decided to continue the episode we had left off on. I was maybe 10 minutes in.
Which season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was maybe 10 minutes in before my room got insanely cold, so I moved to my bed under the covers. About 5 minutes later, my light bulb began to flicker. I continued watching the show as the lights in my house are kind of funky, and I didn't think too much of it until it started doing it more and more frequently and turned completely off for about 3 seconds before coming back on. At this point, I paused the show and waited. Instead of flickering, it goes out with a loud pop, and I watched the whole thing. I turned the show back. When light bulbs explode, that's just creepy, especially if you're just like staring at it at the time. It does happen. I turned the show back on, a little more spooked than before, and wrote it off as coincidence. I like that you're just going to power ahead with watching this thing that you're not supposed to watch. Because, like, sometimes I wonder, like, if you set your own rules in your life that you live by and you break your rules, does that, like, attract things? And, like, as opposed to someone who's allowed to watch these things, where, like, other things can't approach them as easily because it's like, well, you know, they're not breaking their own rules. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of set your own standards. All right, so we're going to get back into this. Wrote it off as a coincidence. When a light bulb pops off like that, it usually means it's burnt out. But this one turned back on so suddenly that I jumped. I closed out Netflix and waited, and once again, it turned off, this time for good. I went to turn on my fairy lights by my bed. They had just been working the night before and usually last quite a while, but they would not turn on.
Any horror movie I've watched with a teenager that has fairy lights, it's just bad things are going to happen. I just can't do the fairy lights thing because any horror movie I've watched that has them in there has the lights have to do something with the spirit or the ghost or whatever's going to take over their body.
Fairy lights is like Christmas lights, correct?
They're like tiny twinkly lights. They're not as big as Christmas lights. They're
Could
smaller.
you do a Stranger Things season 1 and put letters underneath all of them so
No.
that they could communicate?
No.
Okay, cool.
They're tiny.
Don't do that. That's a makeshift Ouija board, I just realized. So yeah.
Oh,
let's
the
not
thing
do
on
that.
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right on. Okay, so these things are not working. All 3 strings. I got the nerve to close my laptop, get up, turn my light switch off, and open my door. Thoroughly shaken up, I went in search of light bulbs and couldn't find any, so I lit some candles and tried to go to sleep. I slept terribly and had some of the worst nightmares I've had in a long time. I remember they involved my mom, which is significant later. I woke up the next morning after getting maybe 3 hours of sleep and laid in bed for a while. I heard my sister playing broken piano chords downstairs and figured my mom was awake and making breakfast, so I got up.
Little do they know, it's not the sister.
So I got up and came out of my room. It's a really funny Dana Carvey joke from the 90s, where he's like, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night because you hear someone on the piano and you're like, what the hell is that? And you realize it's just your cat. And you're like, oh, it's Boots. No big deal. It's like, and then an hour later, you're like, bum, 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 meow, meow, meow.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
And it sounded really good. Wasn't that weird? It's a great joke. That's a really good stand-up from the 90s. Really topical stuff about O.J. Simpson when it happened is in that stand-up. That's how fucking old I am.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
All right. So here's the sister playing broken piano chords downstairs. Got up, comes out of room. On my way to the bathroom, I passed my sister's room. To my surprise, she was not downstairs playing the piano, but fast asleep in her bed.
I knew it.
My mom's door was closed and locked, and my dad and brother were away on a hunting trip. I don't know.
Why would the mom lock the door like that?
Why would?
What if your kids need you?
Just knock. Knock on your parents' door.
I think that's weird.
No one was awake in the house. I'm not going to bust my parents out. No one was awake in the house except me. I ran back to my room and waited until my mom knocked on my door and told me to come out. I didn't want to mention anything to her because I didn't want her knowing I had watched American Horror Story, so I kept quiet on the way to school. What she said in the car gave me chills, though. She said she slept horribly and had strange, awful dreams about me. My dreams had been about her as well. I never actually told her about watching the show, but I did ask if my sister had been playing the piano. They said no one had been downstairs playing it. You better believe I won't be watching that show after that.
That's hilarious.
That's super creepy, too.
It's super creepy, but I have watched almost all of the American Horror Story seasons. I haven't watched the one with the clowns, and the one with the clowns is the American post-apocalyptic one, the super political one.
I don't know.
Or
That's
no?
not post-apocalyptic. That's just the political one.
Oh,
The
okay.
post-apocalyptic one is the one with like witches and warlocks.
Oh, I've watched that one.
Which overlaps seasons. We never finished that one because we were watching it as it came out.
But there's only been like 2 seasons that I've missed because we haven't kept up with it. But I mean, they're just really creepy, strange
Well
shows.
done, too.
Well done shows. And I just think that's so funny that it's something like that's the reason why these weird things happen.
You know, I think why these things happen, and this is just me speculating, obviously. I think it's just about fear. The energy you give out when you're afraid. Because if you're a person that's like something isn't taboo, so you're not afraid that you're doing it, or you're not afraid of it, like you're not putting fear out there. Because it's like, it is quite a palpable feeling. Like you can walk into a room and you can look at someone and be like, what's wrong? You know?
Yeah.
Because you can tell someone's afraid or deathly afraid of something, like facial expressions, body language, all that. So I wonder if like that's some of the things that like lead to incidents like this happening. And the email actually goes on. I think it's shifted out of Tasha's voice now back into the person who sent this to us. Thank you, Tasha, for sending us in your story by proxy. It says, I'm not completely caught up on the podcast yet, but I've been wanting to send something in since I started listening. We might send in some more stories because I know she has some more cool ones. Thank you so much for reading and for making a super cool podcast.
Thank you.
Love, Lily and Tasha with 3 hearts.
Thank you so much, Lily and Tasha, for sharing Tasha's story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sincerely, like, we appreciate both of you immensely. And this is a really good lesson to anyone who has a friend with a story. Get them to tell that story. Seriously, It's just, I don't know. It's awesome when people share this stuff and it brings people closer together. And also, apparently, don't watch American Horror Story if it scares the shit out of you.
I think it is that fear thing where spirits around you feed off of your fear. And if you're not used to watching things that are scary like that, because I think the first season is kind of scary.
I've never seen the first season, actually. Murder House or whatever it is.
It has that hottie boombalati in it. What is his name? Dylan
McDermott.
Oh, my God. Anyway, sorry.
Hottie boombalati.
Dylan McDermott hit me up. No.
We haven't given sexy shout-outs to celebrities in a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
So,
congratulations, Dylan McDermott. You cracked the code.
But there are parts of that season that are really scary because it's just a house full of ghosts.
Right.
And so, and then that's the first season that has the weird guy in the latex suit. He's creepy. But I can totally see that being really scary and then feeding the spirits with all this fear and stuff like that. But let me share with you guys some of the weird coincidental stories of things that have happened that have freaked me out. Because I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I was getting ready for work and the light was on in the bedroom and we have a remote for the light. And I was sitting down to put on socks or something and the light dimmed. It started getting dim really, really fast and it freaked me out.
Were you sitting on the remote?
I was sitting on the stupid remote.
She never looks where she's sitting.
And
like, they invented the whoopee cushion for Robin. Because when you see that, you're like, how is anyone going to miss a giant ball that's like pink or flesh toned? And every time I've seen one, I've thought that until I met Robin, who just like lays down and smashes into things. The light was dim the other day. You didn't put it back up, did you? You just left it half dimmed.
And I tried to put it back up.
I went in there and I was like, what the hell is with this mood lighting? And I had to hold the thing down.
Yeah, so I tried to make it bright again. I put it as bright as I thought, but whatever. Anyway, that freaked me out. And then I want to say a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, I was in the office by myself. I don't know if I've shared this story before.
I think we did, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I was in the office by myself and I was just doing whatever I was doing on the computer. I don't even remember what I was doing. It was so long ago. But I just heard this loud, ridiculously loud pop and then a screeching, just blaring alarm, right? And it was just so loud and it was horrifying. My heart leapt into my chest. I was screaming. I was so scared. I ran, like my chest is like my heart's beating really hard right now.
Screaming.
And so I ran down the stairs. And I was just so freaked out. And the alarm eventually stopped. And I slowly crept back up here because I was just like, I don't know what it was. It was just so
Was my
loud.
mom home at the time?
I think so. I don't remember. But I went and checked what it was. It was the stupid fire alarm. The battery in the fire alarm exploded. So it had exploded in the actual like canister or whatever, and it was just malfunctioning, and it was
screaming.
My God. It was screaming at me. It was
I can just see the noise going out, and like you and my mom like slowly tiptoeing up the stairs, like
I was so scared.
That's so funny.
But I've never been that scared my entire life.
It's good though.
Yeah,
it's good that it was benign. It wasn't anything like too dangerous. So. Good stuff. I'm glad you guys triggered those memories in Robin. So again, thank you to sending that, Lily and Tasha. We appreciate you. All right, let's look over in the stream chat and see what you folks had to say and talk about some fucking Stranger Things Season 3. Scrolling up.
This Great Coast says Stephen King's book is amazing about writing. So you should check it out. A's Monster says, I love milk, but my boyfriend doesn't, so we get in the same argument all the time.
Awkward says almond milk with almond cereal was my last cereal breakfast. It's gross.
Why?
I'm not
What's
judging
wrong with
anyone, but
almond cereal?
almond milk is just too sweet for me. That's just what it comes
that's
down
why
to.
they have varying
levels of
sweetness. The one we have right now is not too bad. Captain Fake Eye says, my boyfriend loves milk and I hate it. We're both lactose intolerant and I'm convinced he drinks it so he can fart on me.
I have a friend, and this isn't going to make the episode, but he listens all the time, actually. And when we were in our mid-20s, like, he developed lactose intolerance, and we used to party really fucking hard. And we were starting to, like, come down off of partying because it just gets to a point where we were just like, let's, like, you know, do something more productive than going to the bar every night. So we went out, and I think it was for his birthday. And we went to the bar because we were at a big table, and I took him to the bar, and I was like, I'm going to buy you a shot. So we went up there, and then, like, this very cute bartender, and I was like, excuse me, miss, like, I need to get this dude a shot that is going to fuck him up. Can I have one
Cement
shot?
mixer?
I was like, can I have one shot of milk, please? And he looked at me and was like, fuck you, because he's lactose intolerant.
Oh.
She missed the first half of the joke. That's why she's like, cement mixer?
You know, because
no.
that'll fuck you up. That just curdles the milk
It's so gross.
on its way down. Captain Fake Eye says, he then bought me a mug that says, if you can't smell, or if you don't smell my fart, you can't have my heart.
Aw.
It's kind of romantic.
Because this is one stinky bitch, so I know I must be in the zone or something here.
The auto zone?
Yep, I guess.
Not an ad. Okay.
Akbar says, singing and whistling at night is forbidden. We cannot say rat. We have to say dragon and some other random unique shiz. Luna says, Akbar, I can never tell if you're joking, LOL. I don't think Akbar's joking. I think that's some straight up like Philippine shit. Julie says, Netflix, just try and tattle. That's hilarious. Luna says, my TV stopped screaming, sad face. Kat says, my mom always locks her door.
So the thing with that is I grew up with my parents always having the door open. So at night, if I was really scared, and this is me in my early tweens, okay, and we would have like a thunderstorm or a lightning storm, something like that, and I'd be able to just go into my parents' room and be like, hey, I'm really scared, instead of knocking and wanting to shit myself because I'm so scared and trying to wait for them to open the door. You know what I mean?
I think my parents slept with their door open. I just think sometimes parents need to talk some shit about their kids.
Oh yeah, my parents did that in the shower.
So they closed the door.
So whenever they wanted to talk about us and our problems and how horrible we were being, they would go into the shower and you wouldn't be able to hear it because the shower's on, but they're in there talking about you.
My parents would have their powwows, and then if they needed to, they would just say it wherever the hell they wanted to say it. So like if it was something where we fucked up, we would hear about it in whatever floor my parents were at, in whatever room my parents were on.
They would walk across the street sometimes to the beach, and they would have their problem arguments and stuff out on the beach. So we would be sitting at home like, what do we do?
That's where I realized that like anger and fear are palpable things, because my parents would just argue in the house, you know? And like I remember one day me and my brother walked into the house and we both just looked at each other like, shit. And we knew like it was just silent. You couldn't tell anything, you know?
Yeah.
But we just knew because we could just feel it in the air. And sure enough, they had a big fight. And I was just like, man, it's so weird how we both knew as soon as we walked in.
It kind of makes me super confused about me and how old I am right now, because I remember when my mom was how old I am right now. You know what I mean? And she had to go through so much stuff at my age. And I'm just like, I have no problem.
My dad was 30 when he had me. So I'm getting to the point now where I remember teasing my dad about his age. Like, you're 36. You're going to die soon.
I know. Remember, I used to make fun of my mom, too.
My friend in high school has a sister that's older, and she wound up being a teacher right after we got out of that school. I think she might have even taught at our school. And so, like, we used to hang out and drink, and every now and then she would show up, and we'd like, make fun of her. Like, Mrs. So-and-so's here. Like, everyone be good, class. And I used to just rip on her all the time. Like, she came in one day, and, like, I saw her in the reflection of something. I was like, what smells like someone just opened a tomb? And I was like, oh, it's you, because you're old. And, like, I messaged her on Facebook, like, a few years back, because I was like, you know what's really funny? Like, the age you were when I was making fun of you, like, I'm, like, 10 years older than that now. And she's like, yeah, and I still look better than you. I was like, okay, no more talking to her anymore.
Oh, my God.
Because I used to be so mean to her, and now I'm like, shit, I'm way past the age she was when I used to call her old.
I think you need to hear this from Queen Caffeine.
Okay.
They say, you haven't failed to become a writer yet. Your research is writing, and you only ever fail when you give up.
That's true.
I love to write too, and every day I take a pen and a notebook because staring at a blank computer screen makes my brain freeze. And I write 2 or 3 sentences based on some daydream. He creates notebooks, and he'll write 1 sentence on the notebook, and that's gonna be his idea for a story.
That was stuff I did in college.
Yeah. So 2 or 3 sentences based on a daydream I had. and it helps me fuel my creative needs and often gives me a writing topic later on when I flip back through my notebook.
That's why I write the one sentence, because I want to remember the premise.
Yeah, so just write down a thought or idea, and you're fueling your writer's spirit.
So here's the thing, too, and I joke around about being a failed writer, but I am a professional writer. You know, I got to write for Tesla for 3 years writing procedures, so failed writer, not quite, but it's not what I thought I'd be doing. But one thing I realized, I'm 34, I mentioned that a minute ago. But one thing I realized that I didn't know in my 20s is that I used to always worry that I was going to forget shit. Like, I had ideas for stories.
Now that we're getting older, it's kind of getting to the point. Oh, well, I'm starting.
That's not where I'm getting with this at all.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that I used to worry that if I didn't write stuff down, I'd forget it. And so I'd write down a single sentence. And then I actually wrote out one of the things, and it wound up being much longer than I thought it was. And it's not good. It's a very big project that I need to edit, but it's substantial. It's like 700 pages. So the fact that I got that out, I will never feel like a failed writer, even if it never gets published, which it most likely won't. That said, what I realized after I wrote it is that everything that had been in my head for so long that I finally put onto paper, I've thought about the things that come after it a ton. But the longer I left it in my head, the more I thought about that one thing. So once it like leaves and goes to paper or onto like a digital medium, it's like I don't spin it as much, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not fleshing out the details like I do when I'm not working on something. Like, I'm not working on something right now. I've had an idea for a short story, maybe like a short novel, for like a decade, and I've never put it down to paper, but I think about it every single day, and because of that, it's gotten even more detailed. So I never really feel like I'm like wasting time, because I know like as long as I keep thinking about it, then at the very least the story is just getting better in my brain, and whether it makes it onto paper sooner or later, like I hope it does, but we'll see what happens with it. So that's just, I don't know, things that I've learned about my writing process as I've gotten older. So hopefully my brain doesn't start messing up and short-circuiting, and I just start forgetting all this shit before I put it down on paper.
I hope we don't live a moment to remember.
Yeah, I really hope so too.
If you haven't watched that Korean movie, go and watch it. It's
super.
So
it's like
sad.
The Notebook if it was done better and was like more beautiful, and it's also super sad because The Notebook's premise is in general super sad.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. It's done very well.
Miss Deezy says, I haven't watched Stranger Things yet. Like the entire series or just the season?
That's a good question.
Awkward
says, I got chills, literal chills, so I left my room and entered my living room because none of the dead can pass the living room.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The Snark says, sorry, y'all, I'm helping my hubby build a D&D character. That is so cute.
Don't ever apologize for that.
Yeah.
What class? What race? I need to know these things.
Everyone needs to be a tabaxi, just saying.
Tabaxi are pretty cool. Karen says, I heard something from outside of my bedroom door and my heart was beating so fast and loud I thought whatever was outside could hear it. But then brave little me opened the door and it was my cat. That's so funny.
Captain Fake Eye says she's going to marry her boyfriend or fiance, I suppose now, in the fall, I think she said.
Nice. Congratulations.
Which is awesome. Congratulations.
Luna Bin says, Dylan McDermott can get it.
Yes.
Get it's in all caps.
Okay, Pancake says, haven't seen y'all in a while. Just dropping by to say love y'all, and you guys make my day. Thank you so much, Pancakes, for stopping by.
Thank you.
Oddcast says, my man, where did you get that pop filter? Did it come with it?
Oh, it actually came with this microphone, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Marantz, M-A-R-A-N-T-Z.
If you want to know, you can actually go to scaryish.com. There is an Amazon link to it under our About Us section.
And in every YouTube video, we list the equipment we use. But yeah, it actually comes with this one. It says Marantz Professional on the front of it. It's a Marantz MPM 3000. And I love it. I absolutely love it. We got microphones that we thought would be visually stimulating or like memorable. So people were like, if you see a microphone that looks like this, you'd be like, oh my God, that's Robin's mic. But at the same time, this microphone is kind of a pain in the ass.
You're a pain in the ass.
Thank you. I really like my mic though.
All right.
Thanks to the people who donate his money.
Yeah,
Straight up.
all the stuff that we get is thanks to donations from you guys.
That camera, these
mics, the lights, everything
everything
is thanks to the lovely donations of all of you. There's a donate button down at the bottom of the Twitch channel. There is ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/carrierpodcast. Those are one-time donations. Also, support us at patreon.com/carrierpodcast. Harley says, at the moment, I'm packing for a week-long church camp where we aren't allowed to have any devices, so I'll miss the pod in the next week. Well,
Have
hopefully,
Stay safe.
Church camp is good and fun. I think my older sister, no, maybe she didn't do one. She might have. I'm not sure. But they're supposed to be really good for you. if you're into that.
I went to like 3 different camps growing up. I don't think I ever went to a church camp though.
I wasn't allowed
camps
to go
are
to
just
camp.
fun.
So
Esley says, I have 7 siblings. My parents wanted to have as much time without us waking them up as possible. That's in reference to the locked door. Etsy says, we used to knock and run just to mess with them. LMAO. It's really, really mean. Luna says, oh my God, I couldn't imagine if I had 7 siblings. One of us would have gotten murdered. Karen says, wow, Adam, you were an ass as a kid, and you still are. I 100% am. But we love you anyway. Aw, thank you. Akbar says, my living room was too quiet. I am now in my bedroom, and God knows none of the spirits want to bed me.
Oh. Miss Deasy says season 3, so she hasn't seen season 3. So maybe we shouldn't do any of the.
Well, here's the thing. I'll talk about like some of the things going on with like what people are saying about it. I'm not gonna jump into spoiler stuff, so that way you can go watch it and then give us your take.
Steve's my favorite character.
Nat has joined us over on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Everyone's saying hello, Nat. I'm gonna pause at a certain spot because we have a lot of stuff. I really appreciate how much you folks interact with us during these things. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pause at Konnichiwa from Karen. I'll come back to Konnichiwa. Okay, we watched Stranger Things season 3 over the weekend. I don't have a ton of thoughts to spew out about specific points in the show. I will say I've seen 2 opinions on this. People loved it and people hated season 3, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the best season they've ever had. Season 2 was okay. Season 2 is my least favorite season. Season 1, like, you get introduced to the characters, you get introduced to the charm, and I really like season 1 because of that. And I don't dislike season 2 by any means. I just liked season 1 better. But this season, it really just leans on.
Thank you so much to Nick Kennedy for subscribing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Subscribed over on YouTube. Shout out to you.
Oh.
But season 3 of Stranger Things, it just understands, I think, really well that you don't really have to have all these characters, because I think when you have casts like this where you love all these characters like Steve and all the kids and 11, and even though he's a douchebag in the show, the character of Billy and the guy who plays him does it really, really well. And like Hopper, obviously, and Joyce, like all these characters are very important characters, and you just want to see stuff develop. And I think it just does a really good job of saying like, okay, here are the groups, they're going to have their stories, eventually they're going to intertwine and all meet up in some way, shape, or form, and everything that you watch kind of has a purpose. And I think this season what they really did is they didn't decide like, let's like give everyone a bunch of questions and leave everyone guessing and wondering what about this or what about this, or like they didn't expand on the unknowns by like kind of touching on it and then closing the door. I think they really just said like, here's the premise, how would these characters handle it? Let's watch these characters go. So like she mentioned like the character of Steve doesn't really have a wardrobe change the entire season.
I swear the entire season he's in his Scoops Ahoy outfit, and it's so cute,
hilarious.
It's
and they
adorable.
make reference to it later on in the show, and like they still do the 80s nostalgia thing. Like we reference one of the characters, like he looks like Arnold, he looks like the Terminator, and every time he showed up we're like, there's the Terminator. And I think they even reference the fact that he's like, I think they actually say Arnold Schwarzenegger in the show. And it's just like there's this 80s nostalgia from a kid who was born in 1985 where I remember so much of this shit, you know? Like last season they wore Ghostbusters outfits. There's no way I could not love a season where they wear Ghostbusters outfits. But this season I really, really, really liked it. And I think it really hits home on the idea of like when you're a kid, you get to a point where you just don't do childish shit anymore. Some kids get there sooner than others. As an adult, I got to the point where I don't want to party anymore. I don't want to go to bars and get fucked up every night. I already referenced that once, and I lost friends because of that. Like, no joke. Like, in my 20s, it was like, I want to do different shit. I have different things that I want, and some people resented me for that. And there's really those themes in this season of these kids are straight up getting older. Will is taller than his mom. Like, the actor who plays Will is taller than Winona Ryder. And, like, he hugs her, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. They should start calling him William. Like, he's a full-grown man, tall. Dude.
These kids have definitely grown up while having watched the show. You see them growing up, and it's really cool. Yeah. And I say you should just try to watch it. It's good.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. Don't spoil it for anyone, but I really did like the fact they didn't shy away from the idea of, like, yeah, some kids are getting older faster than others, you know? Because that shit happens, dude. And for people that watch it that are that age, like, I think it's something that you can absolutely... I wish it was around when I was a kid.
All I want to say is Never-Ending Story.
Never seen it.
I've tried to make you watch it. I think you've watched...
We started watching it.
You've watched up... Oh, you have to just rewatch it. We have to watch it. I own it on Blu-ray, okay? I mean, I love the Neverending Story so much.
I heard that it ends, so
well, there's
that
the
sounds like
Neverending Story
bullshit.
too.
Whatever. That's a
Okay.
Simpsons reference.
All right. Anyway, so
I paused at Konnichiwa so we can go into our next story. So whenever you feel caught up enough,
I mean,
go ahead and shift into your next one. Whenever.
Snark says, "Looking good, you too. Thank you." Beast Nerd says, "Adam and Robin, this time next week, I'll be at the Whaley House. Super jelly."
Pictures, bro.
Yeah, pictures.
Tons of pictures.
The Snark says it feels like a D&D campaign more and more. So making their characters and doing stuff. Sorry. Captain Fake Eye says start her on the D&D young. Laura Ann says I was an only child till I was 27, almost 28. Now I have a surprise baby sister and she's 3 now, which is a little weird. That happens.
Yeah.
That really does happen. It's crazy.
I know I had some people in my family. I have a very large family where it's like, I'm going to introduce you to your uncle, and your uncle is younger than you because of just like that big age gap between like siblings. Sometimes it's funny, weird stuff.
All right, but is it my turn to read?
It is your turn to read.
This one's very long, so strap in.
Do that warning again with your transition.
Hi, everyone. This next email is fairly long, so I hope you folks grab a drink, grab a snacky, strap yourselves in. It's going to be a wild ride.
Is it really that long?
It's pretty freaking long. Look at this.
That's pretty freaking long.
Look at this.
Holy balls.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let me grab my cup of coffee, and you may begin.
Cup of coffee on the corner for a quarter.
Cup of coffee on the corner for a quarter.
All right. This one is from Loretta, and it's just some scary stories that we can share. Firstly, hello, Adam's mom, which I absolutely love. I think that's super great because she is the first one that reads any of these. So
always greet spooky mom.
Yes. So firstly, hello, Adam's mom, who I'm sure will read this first. I hope my writing has minimal errors to make your part easier. Thank you for your time and effort. We all appreciate it greatly. You're the best.
That's adorable. Thank
you.
That
is super adorable. And I think she definitely deserves a lot of credit because she has her own job.
She literally does this while she's doing her job.
She works and she reads these and edits these during her workday. And I think it's really important that she gets credit because she's a big part of it. Too.
Shout out to Spooky Mom.
Hello, Adam and Robin and all the spooky friends. That's you guys.
Hello. Everyone shout hello at the top of your lungs wherever you're at whenever you're listening to this right now.
Hello. It's echoing. Not really.
Okay.
My name is Loretta. I'm 22 and I'm from London. Whoop whoop. That is so cool. That's our next trip idea. We just don't know how to plan it because we don't know anything about London. I was just telling Adam earlier today that planning our trip to Japan was so much easier because I knew what I wanted. I knew where everything was going to be. And planning the buses, or not even the buses, the trains, all our trains was so easy.
She was like, it's going to be so much harder to go on vacation in London. I'm like, but we speak that language.
And I get that, but I don't know anything about the UK at all. I don't know anything about London. I don't know how hard it would be to hop on a train to maybe go country hopping. I want to check out Cardiff at least once in my lifetime. I think that would be really cool.
I was like, we could go to Italy, and she's like, too far. So I just watched like the dreams that I have, like just get burst into flames before my very eyes.
So I mean, anybody who has tips on planning a trip to the UK and Europe and like trying to fit a whole bunch of stuff into 7 days, let us know. All right, continuing on. I've been listening to your podcast through Spotify. Shout out to Spotify.
Shout out to Spotify.
I didn't say that. It was added in the email. So
I mean, technically, you did say it, though. Way to control Robin. Mind control games.
So since around September/October 2018. Nice, thank you. It came up on my recommended. The first episode I ever heard from you guys was the creepypasta one about the Russian sleep experiment. I'm not going to lie. Hearing that really made me want to throw up.
That's hilarious.
But I've been hooked ever since. I really love what you do and the community you've built around it. I hope you guys will continue to grow and be around for a very, very long time. We hope so, too. We've recently made a bunch of podcast friends somehow on Twitter, which is super cool.
Somehow really means another podcast basically tweeted at a bunch of podcasts, and we're we appreciate these podcasts, and they're calling us Pod Fam. It was really cool.
It was really cool.
So
the Otter Limits podcast, it's ODDER podcast. Check them out. They're super, super nice and supportive.
There's a lot of other ones. We'll give them shout outs too once we remember the names, because there's been a lot of Twitter interaction in the last couple days.
We'll post it on Twitter. But I've been thinking about writing in for the longest time and have had to convince myself to write In as none of my stories or experiences are really scary-ish, but I really want to share it with you guys. You can split it up and read them as you wish if it's too heavy / long to read at once. We might as well read them all together.
Here we go. Settle in, folks.
Yeah. So story 1, ghost projection. When I was younger, I never thought ghosts were real, not because of skepticism, but because they were portrayed more like how vampires are portrayed to me. Don't get me wrong, I've always believed in things like aliens, not as the movies portray, as I believe things exist outside of our knowledge, be it in different galaxy, universe, or dimensional plane. But I've always thought of ghosts as more of a human imagination. Watched too much Casper, or so yeah, I can see that. Watching too much Casper is just like
I love that movie as a kid.
I do too. Can I keep you?
Christina Ricci hit me up.
So human imagination or coping mechanism. My one and only time where I thought I'd ever witnessed a ghost was when I was around 10 or 11 years old. We had family staying over with us. I have an older sister and 2 younger brothers, so including our parents, we were a family of 6. We lived in an average-sized apartment at the time, which is still small compared to the rest of the world because houses in London are so frustratingly tiny for the price that you pay. With 3 bedrooms, if I remember correctly, one of my aunts who lived out of town was visiting with her family, and so were some cousins. That's cramped.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people in there. So we accommodated, which meant the kids all got put into the biggest room together, my parents' room. So that night, I remember they put all the kids to bed early as we were all really young, and the adults stayed up a lot longer. Because I've been blessed by my dad's genes, I can't sleep for long periods of time and usually wake up after about 4 hours of sleep. Yes, I do see it as a blessing because my morbid view is I'll sleep all I want once I'm dead and need more hours of living.
Mindset of a lot of successful people, so if it works for you, man, go with it.
I remember waking up that night and looking over to the left-hand side of the bedroom door, which was directly opposite the bed, and seeing what I believed to be the ghost of my paternal grandfather. I wasn't scared, more so trying to get a better look. That's very brave. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Some people are just really curious when they see paranormal stuff.
It disappeared as my mom opened the door to check in on us, as it was probably only just after 1 o'clock at night. The thing that bugs me the most about my own memory is that instead of a ghost, it seemed more like a projection. I'm imagining like, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope.
I was imagining like the Tupac projection.
Like Hatsune Miku?
A little bit, I guess. I like Obi-Wan Kenobi the best. Or actually, no, that's
Princess Leia.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But whatever. Tomato.
Just got owned.
Like the old ones.
Rip me.
Like the old ones they used in school to display stuff on the board. Okay. So it was like a fake, like 2D projection.
So I guess Tupac was a bit more accurate.
No, because that's a 3D projection. The new concert that they have, the Tupac
it's an
concert.
That old one is
like
just
Michael Jackson. That
well, it's like
now?
they shine this is so stupid, but they shine like the light that projects it, and they have like smoke so that it like hits like a 2D surface.
Okay.
It's like the face on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
I see what you're saying. I was thinking like the new 3D projection stuff that they have
none
now.
of the cool stuff they have now.
Okay. That was a very strange tangent. Anyway.
Welcome to the holograph corner.
So it was like 360p quality, which is
low.
That's really low. If you guys watch YouTube videos, 720 is like the minimum you want to go.
Yeah.
It also bugs me because I've never ever met him, nor have I ever seen any full body photos of him. My grandfather passed away when my grandfather passed away when my father was only 16, and he died of lung cancer. So not even my mom had ever met him. I've only seen about 1 or 2 photos of him also, but that night I thought I saw a full-body ghost projection of him, and instead of being scared, I tried to get a better look. I always thought it could always be just my own mind creating these images because when I was younger, I was always super curious about what kind of person he was and what he did, etc. But my parents aren't and never have been the type who spoke to us or opened up about feelings or ever encouraged that kind of talk. They're quite conservative, traditional, and hard-headed, but I don't blame them since they grew up under communist rule in Albania. I think a lot of families that had parents or grandparents or whatnot that grew up during a wartime era are just that way. They're just
especially
hard.
Like an oppressive rule like that too, where it's like it's just shit you don't talk about.
Yeah.
Like the society is like it's not like they had the open communication levels that
right.
like
my parents came from communist Vietnam too, so I mean I totally know what you're talking about with the whole parents being closed off because I mean they're coming from something that's so if you
cannot
cross the line they'll kill you.
Yeah, you cannot imagine that. And for those of you who can, like Holy shit, you have lived a rough life.
Yes. The majority of my conversations were all related to schoolwork, grades, and how important school was, so I never asked them about my grandfather or anything of the sort, nor have I ever mentioned this to them. I've never really thought or experienced anything like that ever since then. I don't think it was closure or a coping mechanism because I don't really have any memories or attachment to him. So that experience really was the beginning of what I started to think, or when I started to think about the afterlife or what my life means, because it doesn't make sense to me why he would appear to me like that. And hopefully one day I might get the chance to ask him if that sort of thing does exist, or might figure out why my mind would create such an image. That's pretty cool.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's a really logical way to look at something like that, because not normally, but a lot of people would just be like, it's a ghost. But when you sit down and you think about it like that, why is my brain trying to show me this? Or
I think a lot of people too try and sensationalize the paranormal shit that they see, because, you know, it's just something so shocking. You want people to feel the way you felt when you saw it. But when you take that rational approach to how you saw something, and when you have an environment around you where it's like you can't really talk about it, I think when we have people, especially that write in for us, we notice that those folks have this different take on the things that they see, where they're very logical about something that they saw being super creepy. Are you really scrolling through your Amazon cart right now?
There's a notification on my computer. Okay, I was just looking at it. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's a really cool way to look at it.
I agree.
And really interesting way to think about things, and kind of makes me think about things that maybe I've seen or stuff like that. Not that I've seen very much, but you know. Story 2, titled Superstitions. Another story I wanted to share with you was about superstitions. I know you guys already did the episode and the special hashtag, but I missed it. So here, I'll bring it up again if you all don't mind. I think we could still bring up
I'm going to do superstitions again. Yeah. I almost did Superstition 2 this week, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was super close to it, but I was like, I really need to investigate this whole thing, so I went with the other one instead.
My culture is very superstitious, with lots of old lady tales being passed down the generations. And it seems out of all my siblings, it's only me who has become very superstitious. Some superstitions that are less normal than others that when I grew up were drilled into me from family are as follows. Never clip your nails after midday. Never whistle at night. So that's like me.
Yeah.
If you walk over someone's legs when they're sat down, they will stop growing?
That's messed up.
What? If you step on someone's toes, you're cursing them unless they step on your toe back. Interesting.
That is really interesting. Cool. Sounds painful, too.
It's bad luck if two people are drinking water at the same time to stop at the same time. One person has to drink longer. If someone sneezes after someone says something, it means it must be true.
That one's weird.
There's a riddle in Albanian which goes along the lines of, you sneeze, so it's true. But it rhymes in Albanian, so it makes sense. That's how we catch liars. Just kidding, but it's fun to use. Anyway, back to the sort of story. Basically, this might sound weird, but I've had close family and friends point it out to me. Also, because of how often it happens, which really bugs me. Living in London, our natural pet is flying rats / pigeons, or you know, they're pigeons, not rats / pigeons.
It was a dig at the pigeons who listen to the podcast. Fuck you, pigeons.
Which we hate.
Burn.
But I often find myself seeing and being surrounded the most by magpies, which are another bird.
That steal shit. That's where that
all I think about is
comes from.
Magpie from Doctor Who. And then I think of the chick that's like, oh, I'm hungry.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Because of English riddles and superstitions, I often find myself counting them. And if there's only one by itself, I would either salute it or say hello and ask how it is. Don't question it. But it's just evidence of how superstitious I am. I happen to see them so frequently that they're always in close proximity, or usually fly and jump around the buildings in the direction I'm going in until I go inside a building. That's scary. That'd be something that I'm like, what is going on?
That's a bit bizarre for sure.
If I'm already inside, they're usually loitering around opposite the building I'm in. I usually see them in pairs, and when I do speak out loud to them like a madwoman, it almost feels like they understand because they'll look directly at my English friends. Man, no, that's wrong. because they'll look directly at me. End of sentence. My English friends always say as long as it's not only one by itself, it's not bad luck. But friends of other cultures always say it's bad luck no matter the number to have them following you. But they've never appeared or loitered around when something bad has happened in my life, so I don't see them as bad luck. I don't want to sound like a crazy person, so I've only mentioned it to people close to me, but I was wondering what you guys thought and what your views on birds in general. To me, they have become a sort of comfort, but unnerved because of how often I see them when others don't, especially for the area I live in. My thoughts are that if nothing bad has happened to you, then they can't possibly be a bad thing. I think once they stop, maybe, you know what I mean? Like they
Right.
follow you your entire life, you see them all the time, and then one day they just stop. That would be the day I got scared.
I think it's one of those things where it's almost like a kinship, or it's like you have a bunch of familiars if you were a wizard, so it's kind of cool.
Or
And
there's something with your spirit where they feel like connected to
yeah,
it.
I was gonna say
something
you
like
have
that.
some sort of connection with it, and it's just how it works, man. Like sometimes you could have a dog that does not like anyone, and then a person that it's never met walks into the room, and that dog loves them, or a cat, or whatever animal in particular. And it can happen with any sort of animal, and in this case, it's just happening with like a larger number of birds. And
Yeah.
all I know is that in my lifetime, I have had close proximity to an owl once in my life, and it was in a very bizarre circumstance I've talked about on the podcast before. And it was in the middle of the night. It hooed. It was in the attic over my room. It hooed a bunch. I woke up. I went to go tell my parents, like, there is an owl in our attic. And you could hear it hopping along the boards. And then it got over me again and started hooing. And I was standing, and my parents' room was on the other side of the house. And we just stood there and like listened to it. And I walked back to my room, and it like followed me back and hooed. And I fell asleep listening to it hoo. And then a couple hours later, my parents woke me up and they told me my grandfather had died. So like owls are very significant to me. So it's like that's what I feel like I'm connected to. So I know we referred to them, or I guess you referred to them as rats with wings.
Well, those are pigeons.
Yeah, I get that. I'm going back to her thing. So I know that you referred to the things that follow you around as rats with wings,
Those
but
are magpies, though.
I'm going to finish the sentence now. I know that you referred in your email to these things as rats with wings, but maybe this is like your sort of spirit animal that you have that connection to. So like, I don't know if you should look at it from a superstitious point of view of like, it's a bad thing, but maybe it's actually a good thing, and they're like there to keep you company.
I'm so confused, though. So are pigeons and magpies the same thing?
No, they're not.
Because, let's see. So they talk about like rats with wings being pigeons. The natural pet is flying rats and pigeons, but they see magpies all the time, everywhere.
I thought they said they see all these different types of
No,
birds all the time.
London is common. Like pigeons are common.
Okay, I'll just take that whole part out.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Anyway, I also wanted to mention that around last October, I put on Discord that my university professor was taking us to see Women in Black at the theater, and we had a chance to have a Q&A with the actors afterwards. Ooh, Daniel Radcliffe?
I think it's something different.
Oh.
It sounds like it's a play.
Oh, okay. And what questions you guys might have. Sorry this is really late because I'm in the final year of uni and it's been very, very busy. I know you guys all said you didn't really have anything specific to ask them, but I ended up asking them if they were or have become superstitious. I mainly asked because of the nature of the story. I'm trying not to spoil anything because it's a masterpiece. Both the actors did say that they were superstitious, and one of them said he had become superstitious after working on this production. So does a play. I thought it was worth sharing as I found it fascinating that somebody superstitious would take up that production for work. I still find myself waking up or suddenly hearing the sound of a rocking chair followed by a horse and carriage and then a scream. So I have no clue how they do it. In fact, about a week after this, I remember riding on the Central Line, which is incredibly loud and death for your ears, with my family with my friends, and hearing a crash and a scream. I was so shocked and scared, I looked around at my friends, the people in the carriage, and on the platform, but they were all acting normal. My friends, seeing my face, asked me if I'm okay, and I told them what I heard, and they joked that the woman in black was coming after me. I still remember how loud and real it felt to me, though, which still gives me shivers. I hope to never hear it again, but I still badly want to see the production again because it's so good. This is probably a spoiler, but at the end, the train comes and...
It's a huge spoiler. Yeah, you're ruining it.
Anyway, well, it's an old movie. If you haven't seen it, I mean, come on.
It's not like it's that old. It's Daniel Radcliffe as an adult, so it can't be that old.
My one recommendation for you guys when you come to this part of the world will definitely be to watch a theater show. Don't leave London without seeing one. I want to see the Harry Potter one. The
Cursed Child.
The Cursed Child, yes. But I hear it is so expensive, so I don't know if we can afford it.
Isn't it like in 2 parts?
It's
also?
2 parts, yeah.
Yeah, and
so
you have to buy tickets for each
either
part.
You have to come one day and then the next day, or watch them both at once on one day and spend like hours and hours and hours there because it's so long. Anyway, a few fears is the next part. Finally, I just wanted to share some scary-ish things that have happened or a few fears. When I was younger, I used to always hear my mom's voice calling me, and I'd run to her, and she'd always tell me that she never called me, or she never said a thing.
We just had one like that last week or 2 weeks ago, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it was super creepy. It was the same thing, too, where it's like they heard their mom calling them, and it was about the Wendigo. It was the Wendigo email we got.
This used to creep me out and scare me more than any demon could. The reason is because of what I grew up watching. The majority of my family, including my father and uncles, are involved in working in and with the military, police, and investigation units. Therefore, I grew up watching FBI files and true crime shows from a really young age, making me paranoid. One of the many things I've learned from my father is to always check for the exits in every building you enter. So naturally, watching those sorts of shows, I witnessed cases of child abductions, etc., where they could mimic or use things you're familiar with to draw you in. So whenever I'd hear my mother's voice like that calling me, one part of my paranoid brain would think someone's trying to kidnap me. Another part of me used to think that there was another universe or dimension that I can't see, but I had weirdly been able to tap into and hear.
And your mom's just on the other side calling you at the same time. That would be horrible if your mom was calling you. Like, if basically you had 2 moms calling you for tasks and only one of them was real. So, you know, you're just always checking in to see, like, what do you need? And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That sounds miserable.
The final rational part of me now knows better and will put the blame to my head. There are a couple of weird things that I find absolutely terrifying to this day. One of them is someone standing outside or looking into my windows. That is scary. Whenever I let the dogs out, I always check.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to see someone standing there in the dark. That freaks me out. It has always terrified me to think someone was standing directly outside my window looking in, and I absolutely hate it when a curtain isn't drawn properly and has a little gap. Yep. What if you saw just some dude, some person out there, and all you saw was the little eye, like, staring into the room?
Right, the sliver of the face that lets you just see their eye.
Yeah, no. Because my mind will automatically paint the vision of 2 human eyes there. Yeah. Yep. And I'm covered in goosebumps. That's what is in the email. But I'm also freaked out. Just the idea of it gives me anxiety. Another is my reflection moving. Yes, I know that fear all too well. When I brush my teeth, I try not to look in the mirror. I swear, it freaks me out.
So did you write this email to yourself? Is this like your alter ego from London?
Alter ego. It's because I had on my ring that brings me back to life whenever a supernatural being kills me, and I now have a second personality.
I was about to call it Princess Diaries. I hate Vampire Diaries.
I'm rewatching it again because I have to watch Vampire Diaries, then Originals, then Legacies, because I started watching Legacies and a character is alive that I thought was dead, and so now I have to go all the way back and see how he's alive. It's just anyway.
It's just it's not good.
The idea that my reflection will move or change expressions terrifies me. It scares me to the point of I'll only use a mirror when absolutely necessary and avoid looking directly at one during the night. This is hard since my parents have placed mirrors everywhere in our home. They say it's to transfer light and create better spacing, but for me, it's a game of dodge my demon self.
That's funny.
The last thing I'll share is imposters. I always used to have nightmares that I was confronted with one of my family members and an imposter, and had to kill one of them, but never knew who was the real one. I also had dreams about an imposter pretending to be me whilst I was tied up somewhere else witnessing them. The thing for me that I've found out thanks to nightmares is that when I'm terrified, I don't scream. I don't know how you do that.
There's Are you saying you're calm when you're terrified, or that noise just doesn't come
The
out?
sound gets caught in my throat.
There you
Never
go.
mind. That's normal.
Now
'Cause
I know.
That happens to me all the time. And that's true in real life also. I sort of freeze, which means I'm perfect to kill.
Oh my god, that's
What
horrible.
the F?
Don't put that out there.
It genuinely scares me that I freeze and I can't control that. I wish I had more normal fears like my siblings, like being scared of clowns, the dark, or spiders, but I get all the weird ones. Hopefully my stories weren't all that boring and at least one person was able to relate. Love what you guys do. Absolutely adore and love the community you've built. I will be sure to write to you as soon as I experience anything scary-ish. I hopefully will be able to finally catch a live show as I've always had classes the next day and you guys do go live during witching hours here in the UK. So I opted out of joining live, but now that I'm done, I should be able to catch a few. I also can't wait for the movie podcast to air. Have an awesome day or night. Keep on creeping on. All the best, Loretta. Thank you so much for all your stories.
Yeah,
they
those
were
are really fucking good,
Yeah,
Loretta.
they're really well written. And I definitely can relate to all your fears.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of stuff in there we can
solid.
relate to. So really, really, really good stuff. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for sending that in. I think we kind of reflected on those as we went. But yeah, that was excellent. So good stuff. Let's look over into stream chat, see what you folks had to say. I said I was going to stop at Konnichiwa from Karen. So that is where I will pick it back up. Those were kind of long, so we might have a lot of stream stuff to go to. But hey, that is what it is. Anna says, a phrase I use to describe the amount of stories I have going in my head. Quote, there are entire universes in my mind. They live, they breathe, they grow. Anna says, sounds like you have the same thing going, Adam. Pretty much, yeah. I don't know about entire universes, but I definitely have, like, I don't know. I was going to say things living in my mind, but that sounds kind of creepy. But I have these characters. My aunt told me one time that the most amazing thing that can happen to a writer is when you're writing and a character does something that surprises you, because you have the character built so well in your mind of what they would do that even though you have story beats set out, as you're writing it, you realize, like, subconsciously as it's just coming out, like, that's not what they would do. Like, they would do something else, and you just write that they do something else, and as you're writing it, you're, like, discovering it, and it's, like, this amazing feeling, and I've definitely had that happen to me multiple times, and it's something that, like, I think writers get addicted to, so I think that's why they let things permeate in their brain. It's like they're growing, but I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass, I guess.
Gross.
So Akbar says, for me, it's they meet, they part, and they live in my heart. Aw, that's really good.
I posted something on Twitter, and it was the first line of the DuckTales theme song, and that song's been in my head.
You infected Glitch's brain.
Yes, that song's been in my head all day, and I've made the new intern also sing that song, and it's great. But Glitch in Twitch is like, it's still in my heart, Robin. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a Duckler.
I might solve a mystery.
Yeah.
Or rewrite history.
DuckTales. Woo. It's such a good song. It's such a good song.
Karen says, oh, these are so cute. Akbar says, entire separate universes meet and sometimes never meet again. Karen says, for me, it's what the fuck was I thinking when I made these? That's hilarious. And Anna says, it's really beautiful, Akbar. Nat says, I thought season 3 was okay. Season 2 is my favorite season. I don't know. Something about season 2 made it. I think this happens a lot with the sophomore seasons of shows where they take the things that everyone liked from season 1 and redo them and try and, like, bump them up a notch, where it's like, Demigorgon, here comes the Mind Flayer. And it's like, I get it. It's a trope that everyone kind of falls into. And when you do stuff like that and you kind of revisit these same things just a season ago, it's like the characters kind of become caricatures of themselves. It's not like they're playing a character. They're playing, like, someone who's trying to be the character from season 1. And I think it stunts the growth a little bit. That's why I really like season 3, is because I feel like the characters had, like, grown up more. And it's because they've literally physically grown up more.
And it was all about them being, like, turning into teenagers. And it was just really cool. Captain Fake Eye says, I wish I started playing D&D as a kid. It's so great on so many levels for development. D&D is really good for learning and creativity.
Creativity for sure. Julia says, I agree with you too. Season 3 was amazing and action-packed. My boss absolutely hated it because of, quote, too many storylines at the same time, but it's Stranger Things. Here's the thing. I understand not liking too many stories at the same time, but if they're all filling in gaps from the other person's story, and as they present a question from one line, it goes to line 2 that answers that question, or, like, develops an answer to that question, I think that's great storytelling. And I just feel like that's what
everyone
they did in
has
season
their own
3.
opinions.
Absolutely.
Everyone's going to have their own idea of what they want out of it, and that's totally fine, and that's normal.
Shout out to Britt Newt, who just subscribed over there on YouTube. Thank you for I was going to say joining us, but subscribing.
On YouTube. Thank you. Lots of shout outs to Spooky Mom. You go, Spooky Mom. Captain Fake Guy says, Robin and Adam, I did Western Europe in college and had a rail pass kind of like the rail pass in Japan. You can buy one for 7 days and ride all around Europe, which is how I went to Spain, Italy, and France. And you can take the channel from London to Paris. I think that's what we're going to do London and Paris. I think that'd be a good solid 7 days, right? No, I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea the activities that we would do anyway.
Karen says,
oh no, we have to do the Harry Potter like the set visit. You can go to the set of Harry Potter.
That sounds awesome.
I want to do that.
All right, Karen says, I know people will probably hate me for this, but in my opinion, I think Stranger Things is a bit overrated. But then again, I haven't seen any of it, so I really can't judge. Just my opinion. It's hard to give an opinion when you haven't seen any of it. It's a bunch of kids doing crazy things, and it reminds me of like the Goonies or like any other like coming of age tale of like young kids being like the center point, and I like stuff like that. Nat Bauer says it's freaking hilarious. Awkward says, Karen, I will respect that, but I implore you to watch it. TARDIS Hunter says, I was surprised they could still do so many interesting things and new concepts despite being season 3, which usually sucks for most shows.
TARDIS Hunter, I love that name.
It's really hard to get into some of the things I really liked because strong writing brings stuff back, and I think that season 2, sophomore seasons, do it too quickly, and it's kind of cheap because of that, because like you want things to reflect stuff from the beginning.
Explain what happened to Game of Thrones.
Like, it's just different. They had a plan given to them, like, this is how the series will end, and they had deviated so much from it. They try to, like, wrap things up and, like, make their universe match some of the things they were told would end, and because of some of the story beats that they changed, a lot of stuff didn't wind up making sense anymore. Like, some of the characters were still alive, some of the characters were still dead, and it changes, like, the motivations where you're like, well, why would that even matter anyways? And it's just, Season 8 of Game of Thrones got pretty messed up. Let's be real. I still enjoyed where some of the characters went, but let's stick with Stranger Things here. Luna says, I'm still on season 1. LOL. I like the show, but I'm so bad at keeping up. I totally relate to that. Nat says, one of my favorite things about season 3 is how it was shot, like the camera angles and how they switch from scene to scene. It's like a cohesive story. Like, I totally agree with you. Kaylee says, hey, love bugs. Hello, Kaylee.
Hello. Harley says, my friend who's 15 was telling me about a recent trip to Europe she took, and long story short, you don't have to be 21 to go to a bar, so a 24-year-old chaperone took some of the kids to a bar, including my friend. I just imagine Simon Pegg going in there like, what's your birthday?
That's funny.
And the kids are just like, or like the one kid that's like, every year. You know what I mean?
What year? Every year. Akbar says, talking about D&D, what must I do to get a scarish D&D campaign? I don't know.
A lot of people are asking to do one. So we're kind of like torn because there are so many people that are like, let's just do a one shot. And I think if we did that, I'd want to make it like extra Patreon content or something if we did a one shot.
The hardest part about doing stuff like that is like, how do we include everyone? Because realistically, like, you really can't have a campaign where it's like, we have 64 patrons, therefore we have 64 players.
No, but I'm just saying, like, having, like, recording our actual session and then posting it to Patreon. Right. You know what I mean?
But then again, it's like, who do we include?
But it's something where a bunch of our friends are like, hey, let's do a one-shot together or something like that. And it's just really hard to do that. And we can't just pick and choose. I don't think that's fair. So, I don't know. It's hard.
I got a lot of chat over here.
Sorry.
Karen says, thank you for respecting my opinion, Akbar. I will try to keep your advice in mind, smiley face. Akbar says, where we defeat the monsters you guys discussed. That would be super cool to have, like, the stuff that you guys face just be the topics that we've covered. Britt Newt says, yes, never ending story. My husband gave me the weirdest look when I started singing along. It's okay, though. He's stuck with me now. That's hilarious. Anna says, the never-ending story book itself literally never ends. It goes on tangents and then ends the tangent with something like, but that's a story for a later time. That's hilarious.
I freaking love the never-ending story. It's something that my sister and I will randomly just yell out like, Bastion, say my name, like the most random times. And it's just a childhood nostalgia thing for me, and seeing them, it was just so good. I love the never-ending story.
Some shout outs to Spooky Mom. Luna says, Ember, are you here?
Glitch, about the story that we just read, Glitch was saying that he thinks birds are fine, owls are bad omens. So I could totally see that owls are like an omen of something to come.
I think owls are certainly messengers, and then sometimes I'd like have met people who've seen an owl and had like something fortuitous happen to them. So I think it really just depends. Like, I think owls are a sign, especially like direct close interaction. It's like some shit's about to go down. Like, get your mind ready for it. Aquar says, I regret being unapologetic in my story. Apologize to the Spooky Mom for me, Adam. I have done wrong. I don't think you've done wrong at all. Luna says, what? Me waits anxiously because they could read my story. That's so funny. Kat says, it would be fairly easy to travel between countries in continental Europe. Use train. They're way better than the ones in the U.S. Luna says, also me knows they're like 2 months behind, and I only sent mine in a few weeks ago. I will tell you, Luna, we are 2 months behind. I think we started on the beginning of May for this episode, or maybe the second week of May.
We've actually gotten quite a few this past week, so it's kind of awesome. I mean, it's unfortunate because we have to push stories back further, but it's awesome that we'll keep having Storytime episodes, which are good.
Akbar says, I sent mine 2 days ago. Awesome. I'm so glad you sent it in.
Let's see. Elf Huntress says, birds are often seen as ambiguous, mainly because they can be used for other types of omen telling, depending on what was being measured, like using bird bones versus feathers or formations and things like that, which I think is really cool. That's really neat. The Snark says, oh no, Vampire Diaries is so bad, but so good. Damon is my favorite. He is the character you love to hate, but love.
And that's how he's written.
And I just love his
None
character.
of the stuff he does makes sense, like from episode to episode.
No, and it's bizarre. Just, his character is so confusing.
He's like, I'm in love with Elena, but I'm in love with me. And it's like he goes from being selfish to like helping her, and then they like later on try and make up reasons why his selfishness is him helping her. And he's such a hateful character, and it's really hard. But Alaric is probably my all-time favorite character in the Vampire Diaries network of series because he's just so cool. I don't know. He's human. You know what I mean? He's not special in any way. Except for his ring that brings him back to life a bunch.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I love him. He's my favorite.
Karen says, I don't know about y'all, but I full-heartedly believe in aliens, but I'm skeptical of some sightings. I believe thinking that Earth is the only possible planet that could have any life form in the infinite universe sounds odd to me. I agree. Luna says, aliens are real. Akbar says, Adam, if you had done the Kenobi blunder in front of my family, it would start a dumbass challenge where everyone would try to point out a mistake emphasized on, yeah, you dumbass. Well, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Harley said, thoughts on the end of season 14 of Supernatural. We haven't gotten there. We're still on season 12, episode 8. I saw it today on Netflix because I was watching Vampire Diaries and I scrolled past Supernatural.
Akbar says, I feel lucky I've never been under communists, though I had to deal with martial law. That's scary shit.
Yeah, that's super scary. Any type of militant time in history that you're in is just so rough.
Luna says, martial law and stuff like that terrifies me as an American minority. Like, I'm used to freedom, but also know I'm one of the first to lose it if shit goes south. And, like, there's just so many examples of that through history. It's scary shit. It sincerely is. Like, I think that's why people get so scared of certain things. It's because, like, you look at constant examples and you always hear the phrase, like, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Right.
So you just see stuff like on the History Channel. You can talk to your grandparents like, do you remember like when this happened? They're like, yeah, I do. I was alive when that happened. I was your age. And you hear shit like that and you can't help but feel like, when will it happen again and where will it happen? So I think that's something I totally agree with you on. In relation to the story, Kat says, this story is so relatable. There are so many things I want to ask my parents about their life in Vietnam before coming to the U.S. I only know bits and pieces about my dad. And Akbar says, is this dude Filipino? Wait, never mind. He's Albanian.
My parents told me a lot of stories about them coming over from Vietnam, and it's really scary, and I can't imagine being a part of that because I don't think I would have survived the things they had to do.
Right.
It's so frightening. I've watched lots of movies, and I can't. It's just so hard. I can't even. There's a movie I saw growing up. I think it was in high school when I watched it. It's called Black Beans and Catfish, I think. But I definitely cried at the end of that movie. And it's just about this whole type of world. But it's this one, I think it's revolves around one guy and his sibling and them trying to get to America to find their dad, who's an American GI. And it's just, I cried at the end of it. It was just so good. You guys,
it doesn't sound like a happy one.
I mean,
it sounds like it's intense and sad.
It's very intense, but worth the watch if you want to learn about how things really are. The Snark says, never watched DuckTales. And someone else today told me they never watched DuckTales because they didn't grow up on Disney. They grew up on Nickelodeon. And I
watched DuckTales.
I
can't even remember what I grew up on.
Disney and Nickelodeon. I watched so much TV. My brain was rotten.
Luna says, one superstition from my dad's side of the family is that you can't hand a knife to someone directly. You have to set it down and they have to pick it up or it'll be bad luck. I think that's Romani. One of the superstitions I heard growing up is you don't hand someone drugs directly. You set it down, they pick it up. That way they can't use it against you in court. That's because my family is fucked up.
Oh my God. Is it Romani?
Romani?
I don't know.
Gypsy superstition is a correction that was made by Luna. Karen says, Robin, you so pretty. Sister sneezes. Adam, you so funny. Mom sneezes. Aw, thank you.
That's so cute. Let's see. The Snark says Stranger Things' storytelling is very similar to Wheel of Time. I have never read Wheel of Time, so I'll have to...
I think when you read Wheel of Time, you realize how well a narrative can do when you have all these pieces. And I think that's why it's my favorite series, is because it's like all these threads like converge at one. Just imagine a rope. Seriously, imagine a rope that just has all the little threads that like are wound together that make a rope.
Would you call it a Wheel of Time?
No, I wouldn't, because that doesn't make any sense. And then as the rope goes on, like each thread expands and they go to different directions. And then you just ask yourself at some point, like, there's no way all of these can come back together. And then at the end, they come back together to form the most perfect rope ever. And that's what Wheel of Time is like. So watching stuff like that develop on a smaller scale, like with Stranger Things, I enjoy.
Beast Nerd says, confession time. I've been playing games while listening, so I haven't been chatting, but I'm 100% in now. How's everybody? We're good. Thank you for joining us.
Akbar says, in Islamic beliefs, when someone sneezes, you have to say, I don't know how to say this, Alhamdulillah. Think so. A white friend misunderstood that part the last time a Muslim friend sneezed. He screamed Abdullah. It's because people like me are dumb and we don't know how to say the word properly, so we just try in hopes that the effort means something.
Beast Nerd says, Adam, Robin, when you guys plan in Europe, I want to go next summer because tickets are only $500 dues. They're so cheap.
We'll see.
Karen
says, the tale of the contagious compliments. It's hilarious. Luna, tag yourself. I'm the white friend who's just trying his best. LMAO. That's so funny.
Let's see. Beast Nerd wants to go to Greece in February, but maybe I do a year up and bump into you guys? ? That would be cool.
Nat says, what's a familiar? And Akbar says, a bonded animal, like an animal linked to you. That's a nerd thing from me just being a nerd. And then people are discussing the things they want to see. Akbar says, I want to watch Hamilton. Linda says, I watched the Book of Mormon on YouTube the other, guessing day to study a character. It's pretty damn good.
What? You can watch the Book of Mormon? I want to watch
YouTube.
that. It was out here.
It's still out here, I'm pretty sure.
It was only here for 2 days.
I don't know. I saw an advertisement for tickets, so maybe it's coming back. Luna, true story. Once I had a nightmare about Jason. I don't know that last name. Maybe it's supposed to be Voorhees. Standing outside my house, looking into my window. I woke up and there was a man in our front yard staring at our house.
Up.
Holy
oh my
shit,
gosh,
that's terrifying.
No.
Karen says, y'all should read some 2-sentence horror stories. I could read some I've written. 2-sentence horror stories are awesome. Yeah. It's just like we have such a weird, I wouldn't say weird, but we have such a different theme. You know what I mean? For our show, it's kind of hard to do like just an episode of 2-sentence.
No. But for
stories.
like Patreon content, just extra Patreon content.
We could do that too. I mean, they didn't mention Patreon content. That's why I did it like different.
Let's see. Aw, Linda says, hi, scary kids. I've been watching from the living room. Just stepped into the office. I love you.
Hi, Mom. TARDIS Hunter says, I used to live with wooded backyard and always thought there was someone staring at me when I would let my dog out. I refused to stay inside, though, because I'd fight anyone who messed with my dog. I love that loyalty to your dog.
The Snark says Klaus in Vampire Diaries is his favorite, but Rebecca is a close second. They're both originals, so.
I don't know enough about them to judge your choice. I guess that could be a good choice.
Klaus is the...
I know. I'm just saying I don't know enough. I didn't say I don't know anything.
Okay. I haven't watched originals, so I don't know how his character is over there.
Luna says, yeah, I freaked out and screamed for my parents. My dad went outside, and it was apparently my neighbor drunk and lost, but it scared me shitless.
The Snark says, Robin, were your parents boat people? My mom was. My dad was in the Army, so he got to go to Guam on, I don't know if he was on a boat too or if he went with the military. I'm not sure. I don't know. But he might have been too. All I know is my dad doesn't have any of his uniforms or medals or any of that kind of stuff. He had to come over here with nothing or they would have shot him, is what he told me.
That's so fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Akbar says to TARDIS is the kind of love and loyalty that will let you enter paradise.
The Snark says the episode of Hey Arnold, where Mr. Nguyen found his daughter and got his backstory is really great. I absolutely agree. That is probably one of the only Hey Arnold episodes that I remember because I totally cried. It was such a good episode.
Struck a chord with Robin. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you never watched Hey Arnold?
No.
It's a Nickelodeon show about the kid with the football head. No?
Okay. Charlie Brown, got it.
All right. But in the episode, Mr. Nguyen's just like their Vietnamese neighbor because they all live in an apartment complex type thing. And you see his background of him during the Vietnam War. He had to give away his daughter to one of those helicopters, right? He handed off his daughter to one of the helicopters. And in the episode, he gets to find his daughter again. And she's all grown up. And it's just so emotional. And it's so good.
Wow.
And oh my God, it's such a good episode.
It's intense.
Ugh.
Jackie Chan, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you too. We'll finish up the story time when I come back. Later, ghouls. That's so cute. Emma has to take off. Says, hi, all. I have to say goodbye to my golden retriever. Oh, my God. I have to say goodbye to my golden retriever tomorrow because she's got angiosarcoma. She's home and on oxygen until we see the vet tomorrow. Needed something to make me smile.
We are so sorry for your loss. Losing a pet is also always
incredibly
really hard.
difficult. The only thing that I can say in way of comfort is what I was told when we got rid of, when we put down our dogs when I was younger, and that's like, you can't imagine an existence as wonderful as having a life where you get to be in someone else's world and all they do the entire time you're alive is fill your heart with love. And that's what people do for dogs and cats and pets. And if you're one of those people, then like your pet had sincerely a wonderful life. So it's sad when it ends, but at the same time, I can't imagine having a life where like nothing but happiness and love is like all I know. So I'm sure that's what your golden retriever had. So that's super sad though.
The Snark says about Klaus and Rebecca. He says, it's simple. He's hot and she makes me question my sexuality. Yeah, Rebecca's hot too. They're cute.
Okay, Nat says, Robin, I always hear you talk about tarot cards and how they're very spooky things to you. This interests me because tarot is a part of my spirituality and I've never seen it as a supernatural thing.
I've just heard a lot of stories, even from Adam, about tarot cards like coming true. Things that have been read in tarot cards coming true. And it kind of scares me because I'm afraid of what I'd see in them. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of times, too, it's reading stuff that's happened. I think that's like at least the experiences that my family members that have had readings have had, where it's like they're testing someone to see whether or not they're full of shit, and they tell them something that they shouldn't know whatsoever. And I think that's where people get freaked out. There's some talk about Vampire Diaries. There's some talk about DuckTales, people sending Emma some love. Karen says, a sad movie is Next Gen on Netflix. It's so good. The first day I watched it, I rewatched it because I loved it so much.
Aww.
Yay, I'm at the bottom. There is a bottom.
Yay! The Glitch says, well, I'm not crying. There's something in my eye, and I've never heard a pet's life put that way. Good job, babe.
I mean, that's what my vet, growing up, had a really small office that got really big because he was really good, and he came in on his day off for both of the dogs that I had growing up, so he could be the one to personally put them down, and that's what he told us both times, and it was just really nice to hear. Nick says, I lived in a haunted house for 3 years of my life. I never had true experience with ghosts in my home, but my aunt had an experience where the ghost tucked her into bed and she still shook. That's
I'd be
fucking
too.
Crazy. Nick, get that story and send it to us.
Harley asks if we've watched Lucifer. We are on season 2 or 3. We might be on season.
We're on the new shit, I think.
No. We're not on the new episodes yet.
Okay.
We're on season 3, I think, because the new season's season 4. And then this coming one, season 5, is going to be the last one. So I think we're on season 3. So we're way behind. My sister keeps yelling at me about it. We haven't caught up yet.
Karen says, one of my 2-sentence horror stories. I looked at myself in the mirror. It blinked. I didn't. That's creepy. That'll make Robin poop her pants. And Kat says, holy crap, that Hey Arnold episode is the one that gets to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the only one I remember.
Emma sent hearts in the chat. And Karen sent a crying smiley face. Sad stuff. But I am at the bottom of the YouTube stuff.
All right. Is it your turn?
I have one left, so if you have one left, then it's
Yeah.
my turn. And yours is super short. This is my
Yeah.
long one, folks. So this is one
I always
really
put the
long
long one in the
episode.
middle.
My long one's always the last one. All right, so I'm going to move into my last email of the show, which also happens to be my longest one. It's not as long as Robin's, though. Its subject is homegrown horrors. And it starts out like this. Hello, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sweaty.
Wow, weird. My name is Lindsay. Hi, Sweaty. I'm Adam. And I just started listening to your podcast for the past few weeks on Spotify. Shout out Spotify. I listen to this everywhere. Home, car, at work, in the back with headphones and my hoodie up so I don't get caught. And right now I'm at episode 13. Lucky number. I love that while you have the regular hauntings that other podcasts do, you also have regular people's stories, which I know everyone is special in their own way. You guys are beautiful, but the point is still there. Yeah. You guys are beautiful, but the point is still there. Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Now, before I get into my homegrown horror, I just want to say that my computer is being an ass and is not letting me type as fast, so some of the letters are not being typed out, and I'm not an English major, so there might be some mistakes in general, so I am apologizing now, Adam and Robin.
When keys don't work, that's the most frustrating thing, because you're like, I need to type this F.
Right.
And what am I going to put in the spot instead of an F, you know?
When keys don't work,
Just
that's
put
when
PH.
keyboards get broken. That's funny. All right. And the first one is called My Sleep Paralysis Story. And it goes like this. I was 16 and my family and I just moved back to America from living in Japan. That sounds pretty awesome.
Jelly.
While my parents were looking for a house, my twin, you have a twin? Okay. This is going to get, I don't know. I just got super excited. My twin Lisa and I were staying with a family friend. She lived in a 1-bedroom trailer. I think that's how you spell it. At least that's what autocorrect said. Anyway, Lisa and I took the bedroom and the family friend took the couch. In the bedroom, there was a queen-size bed, and to the side was 2 sliding doors for the closets with full-length mirrors in those doors. And they showed the bedroom from the middle of the bed to the door leading towards the hallway. My sister slept on the side where the mirrors were on, and I slept next to the wall. Smart move. We only stayed in that room for one night, but it had always stuck with me for the last 8 years. Back to the story. I was jolted awake the next morning. It was 6 to 7 a.m. during the summer, and in Idaho, sun would be up already. So there was light in the room, but I was paralyzed. I was freaking out because this never happened to me before. The first sleep paralysis is always the worst. Or, you know, the last one. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
My eyes were moving everywhere, trying to find the cause of my paralyzed form. I'm facing the closet doors, and I felt the need to look down towards them to see in the mirrors this shadow figure. It looked like the woman in black with black flames surrounding her, making hissing noises as she/he/it was standing at the foot of the bed in the mirror, but it was not outside of the mirror, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So you couldn't see it at your own feet, but when you looked in the mirror, you saw this thing standing at your feet that looked terrifying. Its hands were reaching out towards me, and that freaked me out even more because between me and this flaming woman in black was my twin, sound asleep. I just knew that she was in danger, and I had to warn her, but I was paralyzed, and there was no way to do that. Does that stop me from trying? Hell no. That's my sister, bitch.
Aww.
With my heart beating really fast, like the Jumanji drums in my ears, I think we can all hear that now, I got my arm that was under me to move towards Lisa. I'm whispering her name while slowly moving my hand. Lisa, Lisa, looking back and forth between her and the shadow figure. I was hoping that my movements wouldn't make the thing suddenly pounce on us.
God.
Finally, my hand touched her face, and when skin-to-skin contact was made, the figure disappeared, the drumming stopped, and my hand was back to where it was before I started moving it.
Whoa.
And I was
I have
unparalyzed.
chills. Oh, that's like,
Yeah.
that's scary.
I sat up.
Oh, okay.
I sat up and started to shake Lisa awake to see if she also saw this nightmare figure. The only thing that was a nightmare at the time was my morning breath on her face.
Oh my God.
Bitch.
It just makes me think like it's her spirit reaching out to touch her. You know what I mean? Because
I thought you meant the nightmare woman was the spirit.
No. So when her hand touched her face, it was like her spirit trying to reach out and touch her because when she snapped out of it,
right,
her hand didn't move.
That's scary shit.
So that's...
She did an okay symbol for the 99% of you that listen to this and don't watch it. All right, and it says after that, end of Homegrown Horrors. And it ends the email like this.
Oh, that's so... Oh, wait, no, I still have one, too. I thought it was going to be appropriate because it was going to be the last one.
No.
Dang it.
Anyway, that is my homegrown horror, and I hope you liked it. I have more stories, but I thought you might like this one. I never had any more sleep paralysis. You are free to share it, and if you do, then please tell me so I can skip to hear your reaction, then go back to episode 14 or whatever early episode that I'm on.
Aw.
Thank you for reading.
Thank
you
you
for sending that.
it.
We sincerely appreciate it, and seeing that you have a twin sister, I'm sure you have a bunch of interesting twin stories that you can tell us as well, because I have cousins that are twins, and so does Robin, and they always have good stories.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
that was good shit.
it's not the same as me telling my coworkers when they wear the same shirt that they're twinning.
I mean, everyone says twinning. Like, we at work sometimes we're like, tomorrow it's black pants, gray shirt day, hashtag twinning, and then you come in and like no one did it.
Today they were making fun of a couple of my coworkers because they both had like the same pattern shirt on. So we're just like twinsies.
That's funny. But yeah, great shit. Thank you for sending that, Lindsay. We appreciate it. And thank your sister for somehow via spirit touch snapping you out of that and saving you. Or you saved her. Who knows? But good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's look over into Stream Chat and see what you wonderful folks had to say.
I don't have a lot here, so it's all you, bro. You go.
Okay. Nat is heading to bed. Emma says, hey, you guys. Sorry I'm so late. I just bombed a midterm and spent the day at my grandma's wake. Holy shit, that's a rough day. So I could use some scarish. Well, Emma, you've come to the right place. Kat
we
says,
are so sorry for your day.
Emma. And Emma says, cat.
Oh.
But it was all caps, so it's, same thing. But that does sound like a really, really, really rough day.
Yeah, it's a rough day.
Karen says, I think the reason the mirrors freak people out is because it is another version of you copying each and everything you do. But that's what it's supposed to do because it is you. So when something that's not you moves, you freak the fuck out. It's true. It's just the idea of your image that's supposed to be obeying you, doing something you didn't do, like disobeying you, is terrifying.
Oh man, both the Emmas are having a rough night because the first Emma was her doggo.
I know, it's a lot.
And now this Emma's just a rough day. Poor Emma's around the world.
Emma's unite. Everyone just hug each other. Luna says, I guess this is the end of the stream. No, it's not.
There's still
we have
one
more story, and then we have marbles, so hang in there.
There's still one more.
That is, however, the end of my chat.
Oh,
so
cool. Sweet.
I'm caught up.
I'm going to read my stuff.
With an awesome last email transition.
So the final email of the night is titled Hello Again. You can share it on your podcast. Thank you.
Appreciate that. This is a short one, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty short.
Cool.
So it goes, yo, dogs. My name is Angel, and I'm a boy.
Yo. What's up?
I had sent an email a long time ago about a double sleep paralysis on the same night during Thanksgiving. Besides the double sleep paralysis, I have not had any paranormal experiences despite going to some paranormal and creepy places. Creepy places. One of those things being a park and stupidly walking off the trail into a dense, thick forest. However, when I was young, I used to have a sort of sixth sense or superpower. Looks off into the distance.
That's funny.
When I was in kindergarten, I used to get bullied a lot, and it was like the typical TV bully where my bullies would be waiting on a corner, waiting for me to give them my lunch money, but more of the type of bully where they would push, punch, and insult me in the most at the most random times. That's annoying.
That's just
horrible.
Really shitty stuff. I can't imagine having a bully in kindergarten, man. That's so young.
Yeah. Oh my God, but I've said some things where I didn't realize it was going to hurt someone's feelings, and they did. So sometimes
when you were in kindergarten?
Well, I was in second grade, but yeah, I was a little kid. You don't think about those things.
I bumped into a kid one time in kindergarten. Like, we were all in a single file line, and we were supposed to be walking in, and we started walking, and I turned my head because someone said something to me behind me, and he stopped. For whatever reason, he stopped, and I bumped into him, and he fell down. And, of course, the teacher ran over because he was crying. And they're like, what happened? And he just, like, pointed at me. He's like, he shoved me. And, like,
Aww.
As a kindergarten, I'm trying to explain, like, I really didn't. I just wasn't paying attention. And he stopped, and I bumped into him, and it was an accident. But as a kindergartner, I'm just like, I didn't. You don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So I, like, got yelled at school, and then I got home, and my mom was waiting for me at the bus stop to walk me home and talk to me about how, like, to that kid, I'm a bully, and I'm bigger than him, and I shouldn't push him. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to beat the shit out of that kid. Like, he's a fucking liar.
Yeah, and when you bully kids when you're little, it's just so rough. And you have to think that there's something going on at their home that makes them feel like they need to act out and hurt other people.
Yeah, and that had a significant impact on me as a kid because I was like, I thought immediately when that happened, adults will never believe me. When I try and tell them I didn't do something, they'll never be on my side. And I felt that way for a very long time. And like, I refer to that incident. Like every time I'm like, that little bastard started it all.
This bullying continued into elementary and middle school. Fuck those guys. People, what is wrong with people? I hate them. Bullies are bad. Bad, bad, bad. However, as the bullies continued to surprise me, I developed the ability to sense people before I could see or hear them. I could be sitting in a typical loud cafeteria and 100 miles away from the door, and somehow I could sense someone walking in. Sometimes it felt like I could also sense spirits, because sometimes I could sense a presence in an empty room. The gift sadly started fading as I got older and no longer needed to look over my shoulder. I'm now 19 and no longer can sense when someone's walking into a room or feel their presence nearby. Thank you for being an amazing podcast. Thank you, Angel, for sharing your...
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's like a sense of self-preservation develops, and you're probably too young to like doubt it. So you just like leaned into it, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah. And sometimes people need it, especially someone who's getting picked on constantly. Like,
you just know. Not everyone has that, so it's a good thing that you did.
Yeah. So I'm glad that now that you're an adult, you no longer need to watch out for people coming in, because
you don't have to look over your shoulder.
Yeah. Nobody honestly, deserves to live their life that way.
Bullies as kids and bullies as adults are just usually very broken people. Broken, sad, lonely, damaged in some way people. And like, it's so annoying in general that they have to take that out on someone else who has nothing to do with it. Because in most cases, the victim of the bullying would probably be the most sympathetic or empathetic person to what that person was going through. You know, if you just change the interaction just a little bit, you could be a support system rather than like a tormentor, which is so annoying. Because if you're out there and you're bullying someone, like, there's probably something very wrong, and just stop being an asshole about it. And I bet you could probably find someone who's like going to be there for you. But yeah, it's a good email. Thank you. All right. Let's check out the last of the stream chat.
And then we're going to go into marbles.
We're going to go into marbles. So
you go first, and then I'll go second.
I'll read the YouTube stuff. If you're in YouTube right now and you would like to join us for marbles, switch over to twitch.tv/scarishpodcast, because marbles on stream does not work with YouTube.
Yes. So please, twitch.tv/scarishpodcast. Creating an account is free. So totally, I mean, it's a free opportunity to get a sticker from us, which is cool.
Akbar says, I am sleep deprived beyond compare, but I'm with this till the end.
Aw,
Categories. Etzley says, I kicked a bully in the shin because he was making fun of my friend. LOL. I got a star taken from my chart.
Oh no, worth it.
But it was worth it. LMAO. Sometimes you just need to stand up to a bully. We talked about that earlier today. Like, bullies stop picking on people when they stand up for themselves. Because the idea that like you're going to pick on someone and they're going to take it, like, perpetuates it in a lot of cases. And when a bully has a target that's like making them feel frustrated, they just move on, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I was always raised like, if a bully picks on you, stand up for yourself. And I did that, and I didn't really have to worry about it. Karen says, random tangent, but I figured out a loophole for genies. Observe, genie, you get one wish and one wish only, and you can't wish for more wishes. Me, I'll just ask for more genies.
That's
mic drop.
Hilarious.
That's funny. I've been seeing that one make the rounds in the meme community since Aladdin came out. TARDIS Hunter, little kids can be downright evil. My best friend was bullied because she was small until I stood up to them despite being half their size. Small people can be scary too. That's 100% true.
I absolutely agree.
Luna says, bullying sucks. I had to punch my bully on the bus in high school to get him to finally leave me alone after 6 years. I'm not a violent person, but it felt so good to finally knock him down a peg. Fuck yes, it does. Kat says, yes, encountered one a few weeks ago. Nick says, I had a bully in second grade and I couldn't deal with it, and not a single teacher or bus driver would deal with them, so my grandma dealt with it instead. Fuck yeah, shout out to grandma. Karen says, that's what I don't understand about bullies. Sometimes they were bullied themselves, and so they should remember how shitty that felt and should never make anyone else feel that way. I don't get it. And that's the thing, dude. Like, people grow up like that, and they get older and they form belief structures and like have these opinions about everything in life where it's like, because this happened to me, someone else, it should happen to someone else too. Like, fuck a stranger because I had something bad happen to me. It's like, you don't fix shit that way. It doesn't fix your past. It just fucks up someone else's future. Like, you just become the thing you hate. And it's like, it just doesn't even give them a sense of satisfaction. It's just like continued emptiness because you think you're going to have like company in your misery. But in most cases, people just resent you for the shit that you did to them. And it's like, you can choose to stop it. Like, if you choose to be the plug in the dam, like, that's where it ends, and you don't have to keep doing that shit. So bullying is just like, I don't know, it's just this bizarre behavior that I just wish people could just kind of acknowledge a little bit more and be like, man, I really don't need to do this shit. I sincerely don't. And it's usually because like they're having some fucked up times somewhere else in their life. Like, I bullied a kid in 7th grade because I was super depressed because my grandfather died. And as soon as I acknowledged it, I was like, I need to stop this shit. And I did.
Thank you to Mama Nikki for following us on the Twitter, the Twitch, not the Twitter.
Thank you, Mama Nikki. We appreciate you. All right. I am caught up on my YouTube stuff. I'm going to switch over to Marbles on Stream. And like I said to those folks over there on YouTube, switch over to twitch.tv/scarishpodcast if you would like to participate with us. If you're still talking in YouTube, I will still see it. It's going to be mixed in there with the Twitch stuff, but I'm going to concentrate on this for the moment.
And I will take this opportunity to let everyone know, Twitch and YouTube, that if you go to twitch.amazon.com, and you have an Amazon Prime account, you might as well link your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account and get Twitch Prime for free. And that is something that's included with your Amazon Prime, so you don't have to worry about it. And with Twitch Prime, you get to give one of your favorite channels a subscription every 30 days.
Shout out to Lunabin, who just followed us. And Mama Nikki followed us again over there on Twitch. Thank you so much.
So if you folks go ahead and do that, it's a free $5 that you get to spend on whoever you love, and hopefully that's us. And there is, if you don't even have Amazon Prime, if you go to scaryish.com, there is a link down at the bottom that gives you 30 free days of Amazon Prime. And during those 30 free days, you could totally link your Twitch and get Twitch Prime free for 30 days and then do a subscription for those 30 days. So,
say 30 days more, Robin.
30 days. Anyway, so if you folks want to do that and support us, that would be absolutely amazing. Twitch.tv/scaryish podcast. Anybody over on YouTube, come join us over, play some marbles. Seriously, just an opportunity to hang out with us, chat with us. We do 2 races. The winner of each race gets me to send them a sticker and free Scary swag. Why not? And
thank you for joining us, Karen. We appreciate you.
Let's see. Valley Grills over here in Twitch is saying that they're prepping for a hurricane and they lost their car last time, so they're hoping not to lose it this time. Everyone stay safe who's going through hurricane or anything like that. That's super scary, and hopefully you don't lose anything.
All right, so we have Marbles up and running. Gonna get that up, and then I'm gonna read some stuff over there on YouTube. But if you would like to join us for Marbles right now, please do so. You can vote on what track we're going to race. Type an ! Vote, then a space, then the number that corresponds to the track you would like to race. Emma over there in YouTube says, Kat and I encountered a kid at our camp who I think might be a sociopath. He held up a 6-foot branch to me. Is that what it says? A 6-foot branch at Kim and was saying, I'm gonna kill you.
Ew.
Emma says that fucker threw stuff at me. Kat says,
scary.
Never had a kid threaten me before. That is a sociopath.
My really close friend growing up, he had really bad ADHD. Really, 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 really bad ADHD. And it wasn't that he was a sociopath or anything like that. It's just sometimes when kids don't have the right, medication or whatever, they can't really control themselves. And so he would, act out, you know what I mean? And I think he threw a desk at one point. But he grew out of it. You know what I mean? He had medication when he was younger growing up, and I think he grew out of it. He doesn't need any of that anymore. But it happens. Sometimes kids are crazy.
Yes. Emma says the stuff that he said was super manipulative. Sometimes because kids are bad. It's not that they're bad kids. It's that they're in bad environments where that shit just does not get checked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember some people growing up were manipulative and they lied a lot, and then something happened to them, and basically it was either an adult or another person their age basically showed them this shit is not gonna fucking fly. And after that, they had a reality check that let them kind of come out of it. Because I remember there was someone on our school bus that was super manipulative and super shitty all the time, and everyone hated them, but everyone pretended like they liked them so they wouldn't get picked on. And then eventually they just got older and they just stopped acting like an asshole. And sometimes they do grow out of it, or sometimes they grow into serial killers. It's just hard to tell who's gonna be who.
Laura Ann says my boyfriend just saved me from a spider.
Shout out to that boyfriend.
Thank you to boyfriend.
Karen says, and for those of you wondering, I never killed the fly. It's pretty good, because I know you said that you respect life. So right now, Bongo Boogie is in first place with 5 votes. Pretty good stuff.
Did you tell him how to vote?
Yes.
Oh.
I always tell them how to vote.
Okay. Mama Nikki says, I've been meaning to link my Amazon to my Twitch for over a year. I'm just too lazy.
That's funny.
Which
Karen
is totally
says,
understandable.
I am now a shell of my former self, and my sanity is borderline non-existent. This fly has wreaked havoc on you tonight, Karen, and hopefully it just bursts into flames at some point and just leaves you be.
Let's see. Valley Grill says, I still haven't been to Vegas, but I'm itching to visit. Just visit. Come out to visit. Vegas is the place to visit. Tourist.
Vegas is alright. Vegas is just I with me.
Oh, wow. Robin, I understand ADHD making you act out. I did that as a little kid. Yeah, people think that it's not a thing, but it really, really is. Our new intern has ADHD, and she has medication for it, but you can still notice that she does things to occupy herself, because if she's not doing it, she doesn't know what to do. So it happens. Adults have it. It's just
right.
People need to understand that's a real thing.
All right, so it looks like Bongo Boogie is going to be our first track of the night. Thank you to everyone who voted. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Record time was 28 seconds. Holy shit. So this one's probably going to go quick, folks. Let's go ahead and click race and get in there, and then everyone can jump in.
Yes. Exclamation point play.
Exclamation point play. The Snark typed it in before we even had the map up, and it worked. So did Meadows. And it looks like last week's, I was going to say phenomenon, but then I just want to start singing that song. But last week's lack of marbles, it does not seem to be plaguing us this week, because we have 23 already, and I haven't even joined yet.
Albrain says, I bought a mini bow and arrow, and I brought it to work and shot at some really annoying kid, and the arrow, which was a barbecue skewer, stuck in his arm. Felt so bad.
Wow, dude.
I shot my coworker with a Nerf gun, and it shot him in the face. So
which coworker?
It was Cody.
Of course it was.
It was like 2 years ago.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. We have 25 marbles in, folks. For those of you who would like to race, it looks like we've raced this one before. Our personal record time, and by personal I mean of the Spooky Friends, is Blancabello with 1 minute and 6 seconds. This track is going to go quick. So if you haven't already joined in, type in exclamation point play.
Yes,
right
it is
now.
Free to join over on twitch.tv/scaryish-podcast. An account is free. Entering this match is free. You just have to click or type whatever exclamation point play, and it's an opportunity for you to get a free sticker from us.
I'm wondering how many of you folks out there who are racing right now haven't won before. If you haven't won before, say it in the Twitch chat, because I am very, very curious to know how many folks out there have raced or are racing and they just haven't won.
Now I have that I shot the sheriff in my head.
The scriptery hasn't won
Oh,
before.
No! I'll give you all the stickers you want, lady.
Laura Ann hasn't won. Harley hasn't won. Beast Nerd hashtag team I've won.
Oh my gosh, the Snark says I shot someone in the eye with a Nerf crossbow at my wedding during the Red Wedding segment.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Mama Nikki says, I didn't know this game existed till today. Dre hasn't won. Eric says, first time playing. And my mom hasn't won. All right. You have me. So you won at life.
So I think it's funny because we never really say on the episodes that we play this game at the end of our streams.
We want it to be a surprise.
So, yes.
We kind of mentioned it in one episode. All right. If you have not joined yet, you have 10 seconds starting now to type in exclamation point play, and we're going to see how this thing plays out. It's going to go quick, folks. Minute 6 is the record, so we'll see what happens, and we'll see if some of the folks who haven't won before get skunked again, or if they break their curse, so to speak. Mama Nikki just dropped right to the bottom along with Queen Caffeine and Raisin Rebel, and they're in front of that Blancabello ghost ball that shows where the record was set. Queen Caffeine's having difficulty getting out of the tunnel. Raisin Rebel did not, and is now in first place. Oh, yes, this bouncing platform one I forgot about. Looks like Raisin Rebel made it through along with Valley Grills. We're going to back up, and apparently we went under the map, so we can see this race unfold a little bit more. Raisin Rebel, Amanda, Valley Grills, Queen Caffeine, Mama Nikki, and Glitch are all still fighting for the lead with Raisin Rebel in first place. Mama Nikki seems to have skipped some steps.
Wow.
And is taking the lead.
Seriously, first timers that do this usually win. It's insane.
It is pretty frequent, and as long as you make it through this section without launching off the edge, you might be okay. We'll see how this works out. All right. We're entering in.
The Twilight Zone.
You won that quick.
Wow.
That was quick. You set the record, Mama Nikki, and you took first place. Congratulations. Raisin Rebel has fallen off. Amanda has fallen off. We're going to have quite a few people. Woo Scarish, Valley Grills. Oh, no, Woo Scarish, the Snarked Beast Nerd, all being eliminated. Elf Huntress was eliminated. Everyone's making the jump now to collect some points. Akasuna no Kairi and Dre are right behind. Dre just made it by hitting the lip of it. And just like that, we're done.
So, Mama Nikki, if you can email us at storytime at scarish.com and let us know what your mailing address is so we can get you one of our Scarish stickers.
Indeed. So Robin is still in the lead for this season with 49 points, which is, I think we can all agree, horseshit. However, Queen Caffeine is at 36 points now because they picked up 15 points off that race. I just
49.
don't understand how these bonus points work. Cat Beatrix got 13 points, and the winner only got 9. There must be something going on with like how clean of a run you get. They don't explain anything, but we're not really too worried about the season points. But I mean, this is just a travesty.
That I'm winning?
Yeah, by that much makes no sense. She hacked the game. She's become self-aware, people. We need to stop her. All right.
Vis-a-vis concordially.
That's pretty good. We're going to race one more time. So if you haven't won yet, you have one more chance to win tonight. Exclamation point, vote, a space, and then the track you would like to race.
Yes, and if you're still in YouTube, please hop on over twitch.tv/scarishpodcast. It's free to enter these races. It's free to create a Twitch account. There's so many other streamers on here that you can watch too, which is kind of cool. We always watch Overwatch League on here.
I don't know what happened, but it looks like the Meadowses jumped out right when I said start voting, and they said vote 32. And I think everyone else saw that and just decided, like, yeah, fuck it, I'll vote for 32 also. Because we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to see how many votes
oh my goodness.
track number 32 Coils of Power has here.
And if you have an Amazon Prime account, please link your Amazon Prime and your Twitch together, and you get a free Twitch subscription to any channel that you folks see fit. And hopefully that's us, because we love the support, and it definitely helps us out.
There's 12 votes.
13.
13 votes for Coils of Power.
Here,
some of the tracks have like 3 votes, and they're not doing too bad. 14 votes now.
That's me.
It's just so funny how that works out sometimes.
But yeah, so
average time is 3 minutes.
Join us over here at twitch.tv/scarishpodcast. I know I'm shoving it down your throat.
It really is.
But if you go to scarish.com, seriously, you get a free days of Amazon Prime, 30 free days of Amazon Prime. If you go all the way down to the bottom, there's a little linky for that. We also have links for Audible and stuff like that on the website and some of the blogs that I have on there.
Yep.
Just
good
so
stuff.
You know.
All right, folks. We're going to see how many votes this ended with, and we're obviously racing Coils of Power. So get ready. 15.
Even the winner
votes.
chose Coils of Power.
Indeed. So we're going to load this thing up, then everyone can join. Exclamation point play right now if you would like to join. And we had 25 marbles last time. Let's get at least 25 to end the night.
The Snark says Prime Day is coming soon, too. Yes,
it is
that is
Monday,
very
I
true.
think? It's super. It's the first Prime Day I'm going to have where I just got a paycheck.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. I can't wait for Prime Day. Oh, except no. After Prime Day, I'm pretty sure it's like must book tickets for wedding.
Pretty much.
Woo.
All right, we only have 22 marbles. Where did those other 3 go? There's got to be at least 3 out there, maybe 4. There's Luna. There's Glitch. All right, we're up to 24. Robin, did you join?
Let me type it in again.
There's
that's
Allbrain.
not how to do it. Yes? No? Maybe so?
I think you did join. We have 25.
Sweet.
We'll wait 30 seconds or so to see if anyone else wants to join in that didn't join in the first time. Linda says, Prime Day is 2 days this year. Hells yeah. That's nice to know.
I spent a bunch of money at Whole Foods, so I got $10 to spend on Amazon. So I'm
Glitch
kind of excited.
says, exclamation point, skirt steak. That's fucking awesome.
I love skirt steak.
I wish my former boss was here to see it. All right. 25 marbles. If anyone else out there would like to join us, please do so by typing exclamation point play in the chat right now. Yep. I am going to click start. You have 10 seconds to join, and we're about to get started. This looks like a terrifying mouth. It looks like Mr. Meeseeks. If you turn
looks like
into
Mr. Popo.
If you turn, I don't know, Mr. Popo doesn't smile that creepy.
But it's like that ball looks like one of his eyes.
I guess. This is like if Mr. Popo and Mr. Meeseeks had a baby, which we can all agree would be the sexiest creature imaginable.
Oh my gosh.
Here comes everyone into the funnel. Whoever makes it through right away typically dies first because you get further in the track.
Luna Bin says exclamation point Taco Bell.
That sounds delicious. So we've raced this before. The winner was the Robin Grace, and she set a record of 1 minute 49 seconds. We can all agree We need to beat that. So whoever wins, please
repeat.
Please win that faster. Dear Lord, I'm getting dizzy. Let's just look off in the distance. There we go. Let's look back now. Hopefully no one's hypnotized. No, they're still going. I love watching the first through 10th ratings while this shit happens, because it's like it has no idea. Robin's Ghost Ball, by the way, I'm pretty sure, is way out in the lead. So Meadows is the first one to make it out of the funnel. Everyone else is really far back. So, man, as long as you don't die, I think you're going to be all right. You just missed the portal, though, so that portal might change things up in a little bit if someone, warps to the front. This is a very complicated track. Let's get a look at it. Okay. Will Meadows make the jump? Yes.
The portals are scary.
It teleported you backwards. That's a big old bummer. Or did it? It's hard to tell because the way the track is laid out. Meadows is still number one. He should be yelling that right now. Meadows is number one. All right. We've lost some balls, it appears. I could have sworn I saw some stuff fall off.
Mama Nikki's like, you spin my head right round.
Boo, Scary-ish has been eliminated. Mama Nikki might be in first place now. She's much further down there. That is Axe right there. She's going for the 2 win. She hadn't won once walking into this tonight, and now she might be winning twice in a single night. This is getting dizzy.
Now I have that song in my head. Like a record, baby.
Actually, Faison. I have not seen that name pop up before. I don't know if it's someone new or if it's someone who just changed their Twitch handle, but welcome.
Welcome.
You're running, I think, second right now. Actually, it says Meadows is first again. This is so hard
How else
to
do you
follow.
say welcome? Irashaimase.
I think Meadows is about to win tonight, the second race, unless you get teleported away. Congratulations. You have won. You did not break Robin's record, but it's okay. You did not let her take more points off of this track.
Said hacks and then said, screw it, I'm Team Mama Nikki.
That's hilarious. Actually, Faison came in second. Beast Nerd.
Cute. Laura Ann said, actually, Faison is my spider-killing boyfriend.
Nice.
Nice.
That's what you get for killing that spider. Albrain came in third. Someone was finishing and wound up going through that portal, and it got teleported away. And now a bunch of these marbles are starting to fall through and actually play. So we only lost one, which I think was Woo Scary-ish, which is a giant bummer. But I'm wondering where these things are teleporting people
actually,
to.
Faison's like, can confirm. Cute. Now I have that. I spin my head right round in my head. Oh my god.
Right round. We're just going to watch and make sure everyone makes it through. There's only 34 seconds left in the race, so if the folks do not finish in that time, they will be eliminated by a wall of force that comes by and erases them from existence, like is happening right now to Elf Huntress Christian and Cat Beatrix. And it's going to happen to me and my mom. Yep, here we all go. We are all getting eliminated. Mama Nikki finishes. Mama Nikki was right there, and then that teleport worked against you. Congratulations, Meadows. You collected 23 points off of that. So you are now at 35 points. Robin got 5. Albrain got 13 for finishing third. Actually, Faison got 6. I don't know how any of these numbers work.
Maybe it depends on the track that you took to get to the end.
Maybe it's the time. I don't fucking know. I'm not even going to try and speculate.
Because, well, it can't be the time because then it's like it would go down the line. You know what I mean? Because first, second, third, that's how that works.
The scripter says, garbage. It's rigged. It's hilarious. But thank you so much to everyone who joined us this evening. We hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who this is your first time, we do the stories. We talk to folks in between the stories. We do marbles at the end. Whoever wins gets a sticker. And you can let us know, like, if there's a particular design you're in love with. And if we have the sticker for it, we'd be happy to send it to you.
Meadows says, pass it on to the next person. So actually, Faison, please email us your address, and we'll send you one of our scariest stickers.
Yep. You can email storytime@scarish.com and let us know where we should send it to.
Yep.
And we'll get it shipped out as soon as we can. Usually we try and get it within the week before the next show, but realistically sometimes it gets a little bit delayed because we have, big kid jobs and this podcast at the same time. But we will try and get it to you as soon as possible.
I try to do it in a timely manner, but work gets in the way, life gets in the way. We're very busy.
We're normal human beings with normal jobs.
And sometimes we want a break.
And it's not even that. Sometimes it's just like we can't get to the post office and this has to be shipped a certain way. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, do we take time off from work to ship something out that's just a sticker. It can get a little complicated. Let us know. We're going to get it to you, though.
I handle all of the Patreon stuff and shipping out all the Patreon rewards and things like that. But I just ask that everyone is patient because
we're going to get you your free shit.
Yes, it's free. I mean, it's free stuff, and
like
we're allowed to lag a little, okay? It's free.
It's like that guy who used to wear the green suit that had exclamation points on it that looked like the Riddler during the 90s infomercials, where he's like, do you want to learn how to make money? It's free! And it was this book that you could order that told you how to make money like him, and it was just bizarre, insane. Andy Dick made fun of it in one of his stand-up comedies. All right, so...
What? The Snark says the most Instagrammable sushi restaurant. Message me on Facebook. We gotta go. I love sushi. Let's do it. Anyway, okay. This has been an awesome stream. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. You guys are awesome, and we are so happy that so many of you joined us in our marbles games. If you are new, never been on one of the live streams, please join us. They're great. They're fun. You get to chat with us between stories that you don't get to hear on the Friday episodes. So... please come, listen, join, be a part of the community. It's great. I love everyone.
Indeed. Thank you to everyone who sent us your stories. We appreciate all the homegrown horrors we get. And if you have a story you would like to share with us, you can email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. You can also hit us up on our social medias. Twitter is @scarishpod, Instagram is @scarishpodcast, and Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. We'd be happy to hear from you. If it's a story that you want to share but you don't want shared on the podcast, we are absolutely willing to be that, like, I don't know, I was going to say shoulder to cry on, but not so much. I guess it's just like that ear to whisper something to and keep it private. Because we have people that do that, and we totally understand it, because you kind of just want to say, like, hey, I just want to let you know this so I don't feel crazy. And you are not crazy, and that's what we're here for. So thank you to all the folks who sent us your stories to share and everyone who came out to support us live, because we do record these episodes 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays. So if you're in the Central Time, that's 8:30. Eastern Time, that's 9:30, and it's a fun time. It's really a wonderful social experience. So thanks again.
I'm glad you didn't say experiment.
No. Thanks again one last time. And I know a lot of folks out there ask us, like, how can we support the podcast? Honestly, tell a friend. Ask someone to listen. Ask someone for their story. Bring people into the community. That is the absolute best way. Some people want to kick us a little bit of money, which we totally understand, and we are absolutely willing to accept.
So thankful for it.
Yeah, because we were talking about it on this live stream. We said, like, the lights, the camera, the microphones we're using.
And the action.
The whole, I hate you. The whole setup is been upgraded significantly and has improved the quality because of folks that donated. So, Robin, if folks wanted to donate, how can they do so?
Coffee.com. So, hold on. What? Coffee.com/scarishpodcast, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. And those are all one-time donations that help us upgrade our studio setup, which is awesome. Hopefully you folks notice the up in quality from when we first started. And then there's patreon.com/scarishpodcast, and those are monthly donations. I do physical rewards from $10 and up. So if you folks go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, you get extra content, a whole bunch of stuff. You guys can take a look at all the tiers. Tiers start at $1. Right now I have a promo going where for the summer there's some merch that is exclusive to patrons, and you also get a 10% discount code off our entire Teespring store. So if you join us on Patreon, kick us even just $1, you get access to that promo code, access to that merchandise, and you can check it out, look at it, buy some stuff. It's cute. It's our Ghoul for the Summer design. I've posted it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. I almost spilled my coffee, but okay.
If you are planning to buy anything that's $10 off the merch stores currently, and you sign up for Patreon first, you will earn your money back based off that discount. If you're going to pay for more than that, and you're signing up for $1, you're just saving money. If you're going to buy a few things, you might wind up like ahead in the entire deal, which is a pretty good setup. It's brilliant. It's Robin marketing is what I like to call it, because it's so smart. So
but yes, we would love your support. Please join us over there.
Indeed. And I think that's just about everything that we have for this episode of Storytime. So thank you one last time to everyone who sent stories and everyone who joined us. Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Also subscribe. Thank you.
Love you. Bye. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.